That's it, man. He's gonna get violated. We're talking super violated. And that's when they called Takashi and was like, yo, you gotta fucking come in now. And that was it. Like, super violated is like paralyzing somebody, killing somebody. Because he went on the Breakfast Club and was talking about, like, cutting all of them off and how they're all rats and all this shit.
They're the rats.
They were. Well, like, they were stealing this dude's money. He was getting like 30 grand for a show, and he was getting like $500,000, and they were taking all of the $500,000 and giving him 30 grand.
Jesus.
They're robbing him blind.
Welcome to the Riot Squadcast. My name is Ed69. We're here joined by Chris69.
Welcome to the Riot Squadcast.
Oh, hi guys, welcome. Yeah, thank you for Ben for A, messing up the recordings, and then B, just making them even better. So if you guys haven't listened to last week's like impromptu post Houston game show that we did, go back and listen to that. Just the first minute, first 30 seconds of that show.
The elimination match.
Yeah, and you get to hear Ben's perfect impersonation of me.
We didn't get any complaints.
We didn't get anything.
So I saw some conversations going on about the work of producer Ben and his excellent opening. And I'll tell you, I listened to the episode back, Ed. I couldn't even tell it wasn't you.
Right.
Genuinely assumed it was you. It wasn't until Ben...
It's funny, you said you haven't listened to the show in like 2.5 years, but okay.
Well, I wouldn't say that on mic because we encourage people to listen to this, but as, if you're going to bring it up, no, why would I listen back to this? I know my opinion. I know how I feel about all these things.
And you lived it. You didn't really got to listen back.
I live it all the time. It's all I ever live, really. So yeah, it's.
But we did get to re-listen to the intro on Ben's recommendation, and my goodness, Ben, chef's kiss, sir.
Perfect, sir.
Right. For you, Ed.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
For you, Ed, anything.
Yeah. Nothing builds your self-esteem more than someone making you sound like you're Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse, like after he inhaled the helium balloon. Yeah, because that's.
It was my best, Ed. It was the best I could do. It took 3 takes.
Sir,
3 takes.
3?
3 takes. I had to make sure I got it right.
That took 3 takes?
Yeah, I was laughing too hard the first 4 times. I was like.
Well, thank you, Ben. I appreciate that.
Hey, no problem, man. It's professional editing. Fixed it in post, right there.
That's it,
and if you ever want like professional help with your audio, you always want to go to Ben. Yes. So hit him up on Twitter at DT Radio Ben or OldManBen3, and he'll definitely get you hooked up on anything you need to do with any audio mishaps. He'll personally
voiceover work.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you need a VO, like he's your guy. He's the VO with the BO. Like he's your man.
Oh man, how are you doing, Edward? How's the week been?
It's been good, man. It's been good. Same old. Now moving on post MLS's back tournament life.
Yeah. Now we're done.
We're done.
Now we go back to the off season when we had nothing really to talk about and we kind of just filled in these shows and made them, more of a historical marker than anything else.
For the next month, this is just gonna become like the G2 cast.
I'm down with that, man. I'm in.
Because they're still going, dude. We got Galaxy stuff going on.
There's always stuff to talk about.
There's always stuff going on.
But what's going on in your week? How are you living, sir?
Things are good, man. Tomorrow is my and my wife's dating anniversary, I guess you would call it. We've been together 8 years.
Okay.
So.
What is?
Hello to my wife.
Dating anniversary. That's a thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's like the marriage one, and then there's like when you got together. I don't know what you would call that one.
Which one do you get in trouble for forgetting more?
I'd probably say the marriage one, right?
I don't know. I genuinely doubt Erica can tell you what day we got married. I genuinely believe that.
But she's also juggling like 7 different things going on.
Well, there's that. Yeah, there's that. But really, it's like we celebrate the day we got together. We celebrate. Well, for you, what is your dating anniversary? Like that's our predominant. I feel like we've talked about this. That's our predominant anniversary day. So if she can remember our actual wedding day, I would be pretty shocked.
Well, I think so. Our dating one is the 29th of July, and then our wedding anniversary is the 18th of August. So we kind of just like, we'll just do the one.
Yeah. Just do it in like beginning of August.
Yeah, usually.
August 4th, you get around to it.
Well, usually like last year we took a trip to Vegas before the Rona outbreak.
Doesn't that seem like a completely different life you lived?
Yeah. It's BC before COVID.
There you go.
Yeah, we went to Vegas last year, and then this year we were like, do we plan something? Like, we really can't go anywhere.
Yeah, get a hotel, man.
That's what we're thinking of. Like, maybe just going to San Diego for like a weekend.
Yeah, San Diego's beautiful. It's open. There's things going on.
Yeah.
You know, break a bed or something. You know, try to make it work, and then call it a night.
Yeah, we'll see.
Nah, can't. No, we can move on. I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble.
I think for tomorrow we're just gonna like go to like our sushi spot and like get takeout sushi.
Okay.
And like watch a movie or something.
Yeah. I got to stop it.
You know what we'll do? We'll
you
pay.
still have to do a birthday shout out that you haven't done.
Oh yeah, happy
and
birthday!
I'm not trying to get too crazy.
Happy birthday to Ben's daughter Elena. We want to wish her a happy birthday before we get into anything.
I'm paying attention.
Weird.
Man. I'm watching it. I got you.
The one paying attention, the one like bringing up things like.
I'm just trying to help him.
Getting hotel rooms.
I don't want to get. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I don't want to get anywhere crazy prior to Ben's wishing a happy birthday to Ben's little one, so she can actually hear it.
Yeah.
And then at this point, you know, I feel like we've vamped enough.
Yes.
Where you or Lord, you know, can turn off.
Make sure that it's
so
turned
Elena,
off. Make sure that it's turned off.
Happy birthday, Elena. Now go to bed. Yeah, go to bed. Yeah. All right. So what do you guys usually like go-tos for your anniversaries?
I don't know. I do whatever the wife wants to do, man.
Yeah.
Come on. I don't.
See, but my wife usually like passes it to me. She's like, "What do you want to do?" And I go, "No, I asked you." Like
Erica's the planner.
Yeah.
She's the one who makes sure things get done. So like, I could say for our anniversary we're gonna go here, and then she would, and she shouldn't. I'm just gonna stop it right now. She shouldn't. I should help more with it. I 100% correct. But she's the one who would facilitate making sure we actually did whatever thing we had planned to do. Because I would be like, oh, it's great, yeah, we should do that. And then at like 74, I'm, you know, on my deathbed, and it's like, oh shit, I never scheduled that thing, did I? And she'd be like, no, you didn't. And I'd be like, oh, my bad. And she would go, okay, it's all right. And then I would pass into the great beyond, and that would be how I go.
That's Chris's last words. My bad.
My bad. Hey, at this point, Ed. Yes. Yes. that's almost certainly the way I'm going out of this life, is just be like, no, probably not my bad. I'd be like, that was all right. That's, in all honesty, that's probably my dying words right now.
No, I feel like
all right.
I feel like you would be like, well, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, well, yeah. What are you gonna do? Like it's
you're literally on your deathbed.
I say the phrase, but I genuinely say the phrase, what are you gonna do? 40 times a week, maybe, because something will come up, something bad happens, even with the kids, and they're younger and they're developing their coping mechanisms and their skills to deal with the world, and I regularly have to tell them, like, yeah, man, but like, what are you gonna do? Like, did you do everything you could do to change whatever situation you're in? No? Well, then you fucked up, and it's on you. Did you do everything you could do to change the situation? Yes? What are you gonna do?
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
You did everything you could. You did everything you could, and the result that you don't like is out of your hands. So what are you gonna do? If the result is in your hands, or you are the reason this result is happening, well, don't put that in everybody else's world. That shit's, and this isn't just my kids. This is all of you as well. Don't put that in everybody else's world. That shit's on you. If you've done everything you can do, or if you haven't done everything you can do. If you've done everything you can do, accept it. You know, begin to position yourself to heal from whatever's going on or whatever you're dealing with, you're coping with, and move forward with your life. That's all you can do. Don't sit there and harp on it too long. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, this is a motivation podcast.
Bro, I'm spiraling. So I'm doing my best. I'm doing all the things that I can do to like rope myself back in, and constant motivational speech is one of them. So nice. I'm always throwing those platitudes around in my head.
So Ben, you've been married for like 30 years. What at this point, like, what do you guys do?
At this point?
Yeah.
Turn the podcast off, Elena. Turn it off. Turn it off right now.
Because doesn't your wife have a pretty big birthday coming up soon?
Yeah, she does actually. It's the day
It's not how I thought you were going to end that sentence. It's genuinely not how I thought you were going to end that sentence.
It's 2 days from now, actually.
Oh, really?
It reminds me, yeah.
She's turning 29.
Yes, exactly.
Good. Hey, happy birthday.
So, at this point, all we do, we go to dinner. That's it. Check this out. So this is what I did for the first wedding anniversary. I was working in downtown at the time. Had a couple hookups at the jewelry mart. Got her a nice tennis bracelet.
That's nice.
Like really nice. Dropped some serious coin on that thing, you know. But I'm like, fuck, man, I gotta keep this shit up.
I know you. That's
start low, bro.
Yeah. So that's what was like starting low. Like now it's dinner.
He had to reset her.
Yeah, I had to reset.
He got her a tennis bracelet.
He got a
year
low
one.
expectation real fast.
Yeah. Tennis bracelet year 1, a kite year 2.
That's about it. Yeah.
She's like, is there jewelry on the end of this motherfucker? What's going on?
So when but now that the kids are a little older, we've been going away, like birthdays, anniversary stuff. We'll get away for a weekend here.
The kids go with the grandparents or something?
Yeah, kids will either go with the grandparents or with one of my sisters.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and at this point now, like, just to have actual other contact with other people besides us.
Bro.
They're like,
Ben.
like, man, like all they are stuck in the house 24/7. It's like they need to get out. I mean,
know. I'm getting ready to hop on campsites just so I got somebody to talk to. She's like, hi, what are you paying for? I'm like, nothing. What's your feelings on a 4-2-3-1? Positionally, how do you think this should set up?
You know what, Tuck? I think you're hitting something, man. I mean, like, you know, the soccer cam market, where people would just come and talk to you. I'll put Tucker's gonna be a soccer cam dude. Like,
Soccer OnlyFans.
Soccer OnlyFans.
Yeah, we're gonna make some money, Tuck.
I'm down.
You know what?
I'm
not saying you got to keep your shirt on the whole time. I mean, if it's hot, you want to take it off?
Bro, if I keep working out, I might pop this bitch off right now.
And look, if sometimes you want to smash like food with your feet, I mean, that's just gonna.
I got
sometimes
toes,
you got to do that.
I got big feet, and I hear it's a thing. I saw.
I don't know. I thought it was. I always thought I was making it up in my head, but.
I saw one of the ladies of, like, the American soccer market in Twitter. You know. Well, it might have been, was it Ariel, or it might have been like Kayla. Like some dude sent her a DM on Instagram, like with all this craziness, and it was because she had a picture of her, like, it wasn't even a picture of her feet. It was a picture of like her and some other shit, and her feet happened to be in the photo, and some dude's like, yo. This is the thing I don't have. And maybe I don't remember. You remember a younger me, right? You remember me when I was younger. I'm not sure I ever had this level of energy, because I'm so perpetually tired all the time now. I can't recall ever having this level of like focus and energy and dedication. But like her feet just happened to be in the picture, and the dude was like, I gotta shoot my shot. It's gotta go down. I have to bother this lady.
Do you think it's like, because you gotta imagine it's like a numbers game, right?
You're fishing.
Yeah. Like, this is the internet. You can get anything, really.
Yeah. But it's the fact that.
Hopefully legal.
But it is. You know what I think it is? I think it's.
Is it the hunt?
No, it's the fact that she may not necessarily want you to have it. That's what I think it is.
Okay.
I think they're like, she's not a. I might get canceled for all this. But it's the way I've viewed it is like, it's like wanting a virgin. You know what I mean? Where people are like, ooh, I want this untouched girl. It's like, oh, these feet are brand new and nobody's fucked with these feet.
Why does our show, like, it's either like feet or like fetish stuff? Like, that's what our show, like.
But we're disgusted with them.
Yeah.
We're on the right side of history.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
We're good. We're planting a flag. You know, number one, we're not really planting. Let me take that back. Let me stop that.
Madam Serrano in the chat goes, isn't Bandits of Feet? Would explain a lot.
It would explain a great deal.
By the way,
you seem like
YouTube.com/Riot Squadcast is where you want to be when we're doing these live shows.
Feet are gross.
But you understand. Even in my, like, I love you. I genuinely love you. I'm certain there's something behind those eyes. Some darkness that we can't know. And that's fine, as long as it keeps you out of jail. And even if it got you in jail, call me. I'm going to do my best to come get you. Look, the cops are going to tell you, you know, when he places his phone call and is like, can you come pick me up? They're going to be like, well, you know, we got him trolling for trannies. You know, or you can't say that anymore.
Ben's on KCal, and we're like, separate.
delete. Deleting every account. Oh man, yeah. No, I assume. And yeah, for the record, like, I'm not even shaming the foot people. If that's what you're into, that's what you're into. That's cool. Fucking leave people alone. I don't understand the need to reach out and bother this lady, to be like, yo, I gotta let her into my world. Like, I got whatever you're into. And look, I'll be straight with you. Shit's weird.
There's like a whole like Wikipedia for feet.
I'm sure. But it's the internet. There is a something for everything.
Yeah.
I don't have beef with if you're into feet, if you're into elbows, if you're into whatever the fuck people are into. I don't care.
The backs of the knee.
I'm sure. Just leave women alone. Really, is what it comes down to. Just leave them alone. Stop talking to them about it. If that's your setup, and yeah, it's weird. I don't fuck. If that's your weird setup, if something happened to you to where you're like, oh man, I see a big toe and I just lose it. Like if that's your setup, groovy.
They'd be like, oh, the second toe's bigger than the big toe. Oh yeah.
I love that Mediterranean look. If that's what you're into, that's cool. Go find yourself someone who is into you being all crazy about their feet. But like if it's just some random woman, literally all she did was take a picture.
Take a photo.
She just took a picture. She can't take a picture. Her feet can't be in pictures now. She has to wear shoes every time she posts something on Instagram.
I'm sure they're gonna call me like a beta cuck, whatever. But God, it sucks being a chick. I'm sure, man.
It's
like,
got to be horrible.
It's gotta be terrible.
This is the other thing. We'll get off this really quick. I swear.
Yeah, we'll get into Galaxy.
The other thing about it being, because I think about that sometimes. Like, yeah, it must suck. It must suck in a lot of ways to be a woman, just because of all the shit you have to deal with. I have to say that all together so that doesn't get clipped out. But it's got to suck to be a woman because of all the things you need to deal with. That's just in the ways that we can even comprehend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just in the things that we've thought about today. That is nothing. Like, I walked down the street at 2 a.m, never once being concerned about my safety. You know what I mean? I was in the valley, so I could take over it. But just not really being concerned about anything. Like, just in ways we can... yesterday, not even yesterday, a couple days ago, I couldn't have conceived of... Oh, I posted a picture on Instagram, some dude is going to send me a message about my feet. Never would have thought about it.
Like,
Never
I think
thought about it.
there was a tweet that I made like a while ago, saying something like, "Man, I need like a sugar daddy in my life or something," and then like got followed by 3 or 4 people, different people with like sugar daddy in their bio.
Now imagine.
I was like, oh, this is not where I was expecting this was gonna go.
Imagine, like you were a. I feel like this might get me canceled because all women are beautiful now. But imagine you were like a moderately physically attractive woman and you posted that same thing. Like, your day is done.
Oh, I got to close off my DMs.
Your day is done, man. And if you go back on the internet, it's like a deep, dark dive into this world of depravity. And a guy saying crazy shit to you, who don't know you, who don't really intend for you to respond, because it's like. If again, a moderately attractive woman is like, I need a sugar daddy. There's gonna be all these dudes coming back like, oh, I'll be your sugar daddy. I'd love to take care of you.
Even if they're like, just.
But if she was like,
just gross dudes.
But if she was like, bet, do it. Let's send us money through.
Show me that bank account.
You would never hear from him again. Like it's like these dudes that just go searching to fucking bother people. I don't understand that. You should be allowed to kill them. I think that's fair.
I think that's fair.
Because if that's what he's willing to do in public, like the guy who doesn't even send the DM, the guy who just comments on your thread, if he's willing to do that in public, he has buried somebody. I'm certain, and I hope you guys are watching the video. I'm certain that dude has buried a body. He's caught at least one body. You know what I mean, Ben?
Or at least like when it's like women's locker room to smell like a shoe.
He's done something definitely weirder.
Yeah, like his neighbor for some reason like is missing clothes like every so often.
Hopefully that's it.
Yeah.
I hope that's it.
I hope that.
Because she can buy new clothes. It's weird, but she could buy new clothes. I feel like that, like the dude who just comments in your thread like, "Damn, you got sexy toes." That dude has caught a body at some point.
Yeah.
He's buried someone.
Yeah, probably.
You may have to go way back to when he was in like middle school and he totally made a mistake and who knows and whatever. That dude's killed somebody.
Yeah.
And I should never be a judge because I'm gonna find
one sentence like guilty.
Guilty, man.
Chair.
Guilty. Pull the podcast. Pull episode 185. Guilty.
He'll know.
I'll let you know right now.
You'll know.
Your lawyer who is doing prep work, guilty. Chair. Don't know what he did. Walking across the street. Tail lights out.
But we got the receipts, man. We got Twitter.
That's it. Guilty.
All right. Speaking of other terrible things, let's talk about the galaxy.
That's good.
So, as you have known, because you are obviously a listener to this podcast, the Galaxy season is over, or it's not season, the tournament's over. Didn't make it past the knockouts, or did not make it past the group stage, last in the group.
Cincinnati made it further than you.
Cincinnati made it further than you. If you haven't listened, we did like a post game show on, what was it, Thursday? It's Thursday.
Same day. So Wednesday.
No, it's Thursday.
It's Thursday.
Thursday. So go back and listen to that. We have like our instant reaction hot take kind of thing. But I wanted to know, since it's over for us now, what was your like overall reaction to the tournament for the Galaxy?
I was thinking about this the other day. We could have made a statement and been like, fuck that, we ain't going. And I would have been down. I would have rolled with them. I would have been more on board with this administration than I have been probably with any other administration that didn't result in a championship. If they were like, yo, fuck it, we ain't going. It's not safe. It doesn't have our players' best interests at heart. Fuck it, we ain't going. And you know what? If MLS wants to say doctor pay, you can't pay the players, well, pay them anyway. Fuck you gonna do? What you gonna do? Throw us out? You're never gonna throw us out. So yeah, we're gonna pay them anyway because it's the right thing, and we're gonna keep them home and save the dignity and respect of being terrible.
I'm like, definitely save face for sure.
We're gonna circle back to what actually happened.
Yeah.
And then we don't have to do any of that. Javier Hernandez isn't air quotes injured. Pavone doesn't look fucking furious. Zubac isn't psychologically destroyed. I still have some hope for Emiliano and Sua. Like, all these other things could have possibly happened if we were like, yo, we ain't going. But alas, we went, and that is what it is. It's a failure. It highlights the many failures. And if the mentality is still that it's a preseason tournament, I think it's incorrect. I think it's wrong to say, oh, well, this thing that has these actual ramifications, they're meaningless.
Yeah, especially now that you're staring up at literally everyone in the Western Conference.
Which, if
because
you go
these games
into the tournament,
points.
but if you go back to before the tournament started, staring up at everybody in the West, like we are precisely where we deserve to be. We talked about it a couple weeks prior to the tournament, where you had a genuine. I think you're gonna be harder to see this opinion popping up nowadays, understandably. But you had a genuine call of people saying, why are people saying the Galaxy aren't favorites to win this? And we were like, what do you mean favorites? What do you mean favorites? We don't have the pieces to be favorites. Like, I think there is this. The one positive that came out is a more collective understanding
of where we are,
actually are as an organization. So you had, and I'm not going to get on him too much because he didn't play for whatever reason. He didn't play in this game, but you had that bump you get off a new big money designated player. You had that Zlatan energy. You had that Hernandez energy. You had, when you first signed Pavone, that energy, that Beckham energy, the Keane energy when you first get a big money DP. That mentally papered over a lot of cracks for people. That the defense was, for the most part, unchanged. Outside of us losing people. Defense, for the most part, unchanged. Backline, for the most part, unchanged. Goalkeeping, unchanged. Midfield, unchanged. Only thing that really changed from a starting position is the forward spot. Now, everyone who last year accepted that everyone outside of the forward spot and Pavone and Jonathan categorically were not good enough. Everyone saw those exact same people come back. You got drastically weaker at center forward. Drastically weaker at center forward. Probably better at left back. But other than that, that's it.
And even then, you're like...
That's if you're counting Skjelvik.
Yeah.
That's if Skjelvik is your left back in this scenario. If it's Polenta, which it probably should have been all year, if it's Polenta, then you got worse at left back as well. But you got drastically worse. And that's not a critique of Hernandez. That's not, to be fair, it's not a critique of Hernandez. It's being realistic of the gulf between 38-year-old Zlatan Ibrahimovic and 31-year-old Javier Hernandez. There is a gulf of quality and talent between the two. You got weaker in your one position of really doing business. And it's hard to grow from there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with anyone after Zlatan, it's gonna be an uphill battle to like fill those shoes.
Absolutely.
And especially a team like this where it's super one dimensional. I mean, you're playing to the best suits of a guy who's 6'4".
It's crazy.
And who's been the top 3 player in the world for the last 10 years.
I apologize if it was you, Ben. I'm not really sure. It might have been Ben. Save for Leo Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo of the last 10 years. If you're looking for goal scoring accolades and name recognition as a lethal finisher and a goal scorer, can't do much worse than a Zlatan. Can't do much worse. And so it's natural that you're going to make a downgrade. It's natural with someone like him moving on. There's going to be a downgrade. You hope, as a fan, that there's upgrades in all the other departments. Because that was supposed to be the thing, if you remember. It was supposed to be, Zlatan moves on, the Galaxy should get better just because they should make more sense. Right?
Mm-hmm.
In summary, if this tournament brought us anything, it is a realistic expectation of where we are as an organization.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my questions. Like, what did we learn from this tournament? Like, what did we learn about this team?
Losing Katai hurt more than a lot of people thought. And we discussed it. It's going to be a gigantic hole. He was supposed to be a DP caliber winger and forward, and a winger who cut inside to help Hernandez, which was the exact thing. We did the right thing in getting rid of him. He had to go. Not replacing him hurt. And I don't think enough people really gave license for how much it's going to hurt your productivity on the field if you've planned for months to have this guy as an element in your team and then lose him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine you lost Hernandez going into game 2 of the actual MLS season when you've built, allegedly, when you've built all your tactics and plans towards building towards this one guy and making it work for this one guy, and then you lose that one guy right before it all starts. It was always going to hurt. And now I think people are more understanding of how much it hurt.
But it seems so odd because even the plan for Hernandez wasn't actually a plan to play to his best suits. So it seems kind of odd, like that even build for this player, but you're not really building playing with this player.
To be fair, Katai would have helped. Katai would have helped a lot.
A natural winger, of course. Yeah, I mean you have Araujo who played.
But a
2
natural
games
winger
at the wing.
A natural winger who historically cuts inside and creates chances on the ground inside.
Mm-hmm.
The issue with that is if you look at the preseason games and you look at the first 2 games of the season, that is not how Katai played. Like that returns you to its tactics. It's the coaching.
Yeah.
Because if you watch Alexander Katai on Chicago, even if it's just highlights, if you watch Alexander Katai on Chicago, it's wide wing, cut inside, play the ball on the ground to the forward where you would want the ball played to Hernandez. A little bit ahead of him on the ground, going towards goal, not back to goal, not hold up play, not lofted in the air, like exactly where you would want it. But if you watch Katai since he was here, that's not how he played at all. Like GBS, it's the plan, it's the game plan. The game plan is inherently flawed. That's one of the things we learned from this tournament.
Yeah, I feel like coming into this tournament, we weren't trying to give it too much, in the sense that these guys were off for 4 months, haven't really been able to train together, blah, 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 whatever. But, man, you look and it's just, you would think that after 4 months and having a really poor start to the season, that GBS is like, all right, maybe we switch up tactics, maybe, we'll play to these guys' best attributes. But it just seems like nothing changed. Like, none of the tactics changed.
2 off seasons. He had 2 off seasons since Zlatan left.
And you made a point where it's like, these are his guys that he either signed or re-signed, except for, 1 or 2 players.
Kitchen and Bingham.
So...
And I guess technically JDS. There was talk that JDS had signed an extension, but I still haven't found anything public. JDS may be the other one, but I don't think they're looking to flip him or get rid of him.
Yeah.
So he's not really one where you go, okay, well that one's not on Yeah, every one of the 30-man roster, save for Kitchen and Bingham, and maybe Jonathan, was either signed, re-signed, or promoted from the current administration. This is GBS's team after after 3 transfer windows, 2 off seasons. Like, these are his tactics. These are his games. These are his points.
Yeah, and you even made a comment about how, like, going into this tournament, there was a good number of people and fans saying that, why aren't the media saying that the Galaxy have a chance to win this? Like, why are we surprised going from those 2 first games that we saw where they were utterly terrible? They played terrible.
Yeah.
It was nothing but.
It was bad soccer.
It was bad soccer.
Yeah. Not even a matter of whether it was effective.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was ineffective, and it was low quality.
So why do we think, after 4 months of not playing together again, that things would get better? Like, why do people think that it wasn't, like, the first 2 games, like, it didn't happen, like it was just afraid of memory that didn't happen, and now we go 4 months later and it's literally the same stuff that we saw.
Well, therein lies a point I feel like we try to make pretty regularly. Of, it becomes really, really important who controls the narrative, who controls the conversation. I love what we do here. I love the Riot Squadcast. I love seeing Ben and Ed. It's a highlight in my week. I look forward to it. That's actually not true. But usually on Tuesdays I'm like, oh fuck. But I enjoy the content we do. I think the content we do is at least improving. But if we don't,
it only took 185 episodes.
Yeah, just a little bit. Look, man, live aloha, bro. It's all good.
Yeah,
We're getting there.
Yeah.
Look, we're all gonna make it in the end. But it's the reason I regularly try to shout out independent content creators. If you allow people with a vested interest, let's say, I don't want to say bias. Bias may not be fair, but if you allow people with a vested interest in the way you view a narrative to control your narrative, you're never actually going to get the information you need. You're never actually going to get differing opinions and differing views. You need people to look at it from their various points of view and their various perspectives. I've gotten in arguments about my feelings on past Galaxy players from listeners and people on Twitter and what have you, because they view it through a certain prism that I don't view it through. I don't view it through people's feelings on players. It's like, well, what happened? You know what I mean? What actually took place? And then making sure that your own personal bias, you are aware of that prism. I love AJ De La Garza. I love him. I would never realistically put him in a all-time 11 for the back line, much as I love him, because I understand I love AJ personally, like as a friend and a brother man. Like, I love AJ. I mean, does he keep Robin Fraser out of an all-time 11? No. Does he keep Yella out of an all-time 11? No. Does he keep Ashley out of all-time 11 at left back? No. Does he keep Sean out at right back? No. I like him personally, but understand the prism you send shit through. If you allow the narrative to be controlled by people who have a prism that they pass information through for their understanding, which is, ticket compensation, which is what is it called when you get a cut? You're fuck, you got nothing.
I mean, the big.
Well, like you sell enough of something and then you
like
get
a royalty.
Royalty? No. Well, like you sell enough of something and you get compensated for it. Commission. Like, if you allow people who are making commission, thank you, Bixby. If you allow people who are in the live chat, youtube.com/RiotSquadcast. Nice. If you allow
By the way,
people,
make sure you're liking and sharing.
Like, share, subscribe, get in there, hit the little bell so you get a notification whenever we go live. That way you get to hear it, ladies and sirs.
Fredo.
You fucked up, Fredo. But if you allow people who have,
he's in the chat.
If you allow people who have a prism that they aren't making public to filter their information through, filter that narrative through, you don't get the other perspectives. It's why the other perspectives are so drastically important. Seek out all the content creators.
Brandon says he's leaving.
Understandably, but seek out all the other content creators, man. And it's a long list. I'm sorry, I will have a list ready next week. But seek out all the other content creators because look, you're not wrong, man. There was a lot of people who thought the Galaxy were not getting nearly enough respect going into this tournament. And the one thing we probably learned in this tournament is we deserve none of it.
Yeah.
We just actually deserve none.
Do you think there's more people are just excited for soccer to be back?
It's love. Like it's love, man. It's not even love. It's addiction. Like it is an addiction. It's every I'm not look. It's a trigger warning. I'm not trying to upset anybody. I'm not trying to rattle anyone's cage or anything like that. But it's every domestic violence case where some knuckleheads knocking some woman around, but she loves them and she keeps coming back. She keeps coming back.
Stockholm syndrome.
Well, no, this is for what we're discussing.
I get you. Yeah.
This is an abusive relationship. You are consistently unhappy with a product, and then you wait for them to come out and say, "Hey, we have a T-shirt to sell you that's $150," or we have here's a better example.
No,
we have a T-shirt to sell you that's $45 that literally says Los Angeles Galaxy stretched out improperly. Done. That someone was able to recreate in 25 seconds.
Yes, that's my favorite part.
But it's an abusive relationship that you're into. And look, I'm not gonna say
if you're a sports fan, I mean, it's usually the case.
If you don't support Real Madrid or Barcelona, if you don't support Real Madrid or Barcelona, and that's
or Juve or Bayern Munich, where it's like
9 years in a row.
Yeah.
If you don't support Bayern Munich, Celtic, or Rangers, like where it's literally one or two teams, to some degree, you're going to have a negative. I'm a Newcastle fan. I'm angry all the time.
Let's not talk about the Premier League, man.
I'm so sad for you. I'm so genuine. Ed's a Watford fan. His team just went down. But I'm so genuinely.
And I gave a shout out to George because he on his one of our friends. He's a Villa fan, and so I saw a post on his Instagram story. I'm like, hey man, congrats, dude, staying up. And then later I saw him talking shit on one of the Watford players. I'm like, bro, come on. I just gave you a shout out, bro. What are you doing?
And first, you shouldn't even still be in the Premier League.
Yeah.
What are you? But it's whatever. I don't care. I'm so fucking done, man. It's a hard year. Like that's the other thing. You don't want to know what it is. You want to know why people were so big up on the Galaxy? I can tell you. It's because the year sucks.
Yeah.
There's so much bad and there's so much hard and it's so difficult for everyone. And Kanye West is running for president. There's all this shit. And you're just I just want something good.
I mean, everyone thought like, okay, it's tournament style, anything can happen. It's MLS,
It's an Open Cup. When was the last time we were successful at an Open Cup?
Who would have known that teams like Cincinnati and San Jose would have been like looking okay, and Columbus looking okay, like
built for a cup run.
Yeah.
Built for a cup run. If we ran a full, 34 game season, I want to see how San Jose does. But a team like that is built for a cup run, and that's what this is. This is a cup tournament. You don't have to be great for a long stretch. You got to be great for 90 minutes every 3 or 4 days, and that's it. While everyone else is still dealing with all these other issues. While everyone else is still dealing with being away from their family and all the coronavirus and all you have to do is be good for 90 minutes. You don't even have to be good. You have to be effective for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
You have to be you have to be a team and on the same page for 90 minutes. Something we are clearly incapable of doing. Again, it's not that we lost. It's that it's ugly, gross, ineffective soccer.
Yeah, I mean, if we had lost but looked into the game or looked like it half decent soccer, I don't think people would have been as hurt by these last 3 games, because it is, you play ugly, you have guys. I mean, if you want to go by what GB said against the game against LAFC, where the guys gave up, like you never want to see that. Like that's the absolute worst thing you see from guys who, in a time where it's not the best, where people are staying home, some people don't have jobs or are losing money or losing their businesses. You want to go out there and see these guys perform and give you some sort of entertainment, and they go out and just seem like they don't care, or the ability that they don't have the ability to play anymore. Like I was.
Oh no, I was going to ask you to talk, Ben, because I'm looking something up.
I thought you had sent me a message in the Discord.
Oh, I thought he was pointing
like
that maybe someone was calling or something.
Yeah, it's possible too. I was actually looking something up also.
But it's like people were pointing out, it was ugly. It was just plain. It was bad to watch. It was hard to watch.
I mean, one of the next things on the rundown is what we learned. One of the things we learned is there's no leadership on this team. No one stepped up on the field.
Yeah.
Or you could even argue that there's no leadership coming from the sidelines. I think it was
definitely fair.
Yeah, Guessman was. I think it was Guessman that reported that during the Chivas game, the loudest voice you heard from the sideline was Chicharito, yelling at the guys. It wasn't even GBS.
Which is like, well, apparently. So, if you got to see the full Houston game, apparently on the sidelines, GBS looking very animated, very up, very active, yelling. Although apparently it turned out that was Gustavo.
I would. That's what I thought. Like, how do we know it's him? How do we know it's not his brother?
Dude, they just take turns, like trading the jacket back and forth. You know?
Wouldn't you? But like, going through, so you talked about the tournament as a whole, and I wanted to pull this up because I didn't have it off the top of my head. I'm not one of those guys. Surprisingly, I'm not one of those guys that remember random results from years and years gone by. Stop rolling your eyes, Erica. I'm not one of those guys who remembers random soccer results years after they happen, or even weeks, apparently. But looking at the tournament as a whole, as a collective, first game of the MLS is Back tournament. Do you remember it? Well, how much of it do you remember off the top of your head?
Sorry, I was reading the comments. What's it called?
The first game of the MLS is Back tournament.
It was a nightmare, though. The Portland game was a nightmare.
Portland. We lost 2-1.
Yeah.
Portland goes down a man.
Yeah.
The sole reason we're able to turn that game around.
Exactly.
Hernandez misses a penalty, misses the wide open chance, and then scores off the Gordon Wild assist, right?
Yep.
Second game, LAFC blown out. How do we get this to the 2?
But the memorable thing about the LAFC game is the fact that we were the first half we go and tied 2-2 at halftime.
Not bad, yeah.
And we just get blown out of the way.
But what explain the 2? How did we get the 2? Do you remember the 2?
The 2, one was an own goal, and the other was
Pavon getting to retake a penalty.
Yeah.
Because the keeper jumped off the line. The third game, Houston. We drew 1-1.
Yeah, it was a late
90th minute penalty.
Yeah. Tri was dragged down in the box.
Portland goes down a man. It's the only reason we got that goal. An own goal, and a retaken penalty, and then a last minute penalty. That is the totality of our tournament. If you don't understand everything you need to know, about the current direction of the organization, I mean, that's got to be it. This was a preseason. This was a preseason tournament. It was a preseason tournament for Portland. It was a preseason tournament for Houston. It was a preseason tournament for FC Cincinnati, who got further than you. It was a preseason tournament for San Jose, who got further than you. It was a preseason tournament for Orlando, who got further than you. Tip your cap to one team. If you're looking around the league, you tip your hat to Atlanta. That went 3 and out. Literally didn't even score a goal. And then fired their manager.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, like...
Segues. I got him.
Thank you, sir. Atlanta fires Frank de Boer, 2 days after they got kicked out of the tournament?
Almost immediately.
Is this something that the Galaxy, you think they were even contemplating, or they were just like, this is our guy, we're going to see it through?
It can't happen. Like, if you look, so we'll touch on that in a second, but there was a report that MLS is very much looking into doing a post...
The restart.
A post MLS is Back tournament season that I guess takes into account the results from MLS is Back and somehow transitions that into a season.
The results are... The table's already... Yeah.
Updated.
They're updated on the website, the MLS's website.
If you're serious about that season... If you're serious about your season, if you're trying to go into the post MLS is Back COVID Cup regular season that it's going, you don't have a lot of time.
No.
From when that tournament ends, I mean, we're already at the semifinals of the MLS is Back tournament. If you're
As I think after tonight, we should be at the semifinals. If you're going to be back, or if you're sacking your manager and you're getting somebody new in, who would presumably have a new philosophy from top to bottom, I mean, the clock is ticking. It's got to happen immediately.
Let's just talk about the postseason tournament or the season.
Call it whatever you want.
Whatever the hell we're calling it.
Yeah.
It's been reported on a couple of soccer journalists that the plan is to start August 22nd, which is like a week and a half after the MLS is back tournament ends.
3 weeks from today.
So 9 teams from each conference make the playoffs. So 18 teams.
MLS going. Don Garber is finally getting his dream.
Yeah.
Everyone makes the playoffs.
The playoffs would run November 20th through December 12th.
Can we really quick? Can we put a pin?
Okay.
MLS has gotten to a point where there are so many teams. 9 teams can make it from each conference. Yes, man.
But that's it's seriously like 80% of the team.
Who gives a fuck, man?
And the Galaxy is still not going to make.
Yeah,
the playoffs.
but do you remember playing the same? Do you remember playing the same teams 5 times a year?
Yeah, of course.
Like there was
people
are pissed now because you're like, it's not a real season. They didn't play us. It's crazy to me.
What was it? There was a point where it was like 12 MLS teams at one point.
There was. It started out at 10, and then it expanded and then contracted, right?
Yeah. I think there was a time I want to say there was 8 for a little while.
Got down to 8. I don't know. I don't remember. But it's awesome that from where the league began, you're now at a point where you basically get that many teams from where the league began going into the playoffs from one conference.
And it wasn't that long ago. I mean, realistically.
In my memory, it's really recent. Yeah. By the way, today is the 13th anniversary of me joining Lars.
Oh, yeah, because I saw the
Galaxy History posted LA Galaxy versus Chivas Guadalajara at the Coliseum, and that was the day I joined the Riot Squad. Wandering around, me and this little Guatemalan boy wandering around.
Sounds weird.
Does it sound weird? I mean, technically he's a grown little man, but it was a legal adult. He built like a marionette. You know who you are. And
I just like that he said he's walking around with a little Guatemalan boy.
I was.
Just so strange.
I mean, does that sound weird? Does that make?
It's a little strange.
Believe me, of the two of us, the least weird one. But that looking for Galaxy fans, and I ran into Medium Bill and Tommy Mack and Big Bill and I think Twiggy, and that was history, man. 13 years later, here we are. So fucking
there you go.
My moment, man. There's my anniversary.
Congrats on your anniversary.
Thank you.
What were we talking about? The restart of the season.
Well, yeah, and if how soon it's coming up.
Yeah, so they're planning on doing like 2 phases. There's like August 22nd to like the beginning of September, or like mid-September, and then like a week later they would start a new set of games. But anyways, the playoffs would still be like pretty much the same, running from November 20th to December 12th, which is the MLS Cup final. Canadian teams will only be playing themselves because Canada will not allow sports teams to travel.
It's crossing the border because Americans are dirty. We're not allowed to talk about that, Ed.
No.
Dirty keep it clean.
We're fine.
You fucking Canadian.
What are your thoughts for finishing the season off in this weird fashion 18 game or whatever the hell they plan on doing?
Well, as always, the question comes: how eager are you to watch the Galaxy lose? Because they
ain't getting better.
This isn't a. I don't want to be this dude, man. I genuinely. I'm trying, guys. I'm no bullshit. I'm trying to simplify my life. I'm trying to add positivity into my circle. More importantly, I'm trying to remove negativity from my circle. You know what I mean?
But you got to be real, though, dude.
But being real?
Got to be real.
This problem isn't getting better.
Got to keep it real.
This problem is not getting better quickly.
No.
This is a very, very expensive problem that we have.
And what's the protocol now? I mean, I don't know what's going on with like a transfer window. Like, what is
the next time the window? I don't know when it's going to be. The next time the window opens, it'll be for everything. So MLS only had a 2-day transfer window.
Yeah. Where
you weren't allowed to bring players in for the tournament. You could bring in a TAM signing. They just can't be registered to join. So the Galaxy obviously, just moved up kids from G2, and that was pretty much it. I can look quickly to see when the transfer window will reopen. But yeah, I don't know off the top of my head.
Because I mean, that seems like the only way that we do anything in a postseason our post tournament season.
We should have money to spend too.
You gotta bring some guys in.
We need an attacking midfielder.
Yeah.
Like that's number one with a bullet has to be getting Hernandez going.
Yeah.
After you get Hernandez going, it becomes a lot of other issues. It's going to be like Barcelona. You get Hernandez going and he starts banging in goals, but we just can't stop them from going. We can't stop other teams' goals.
We gotta win games 4-3, 5-4.
Yeah, but it's not a quick. This is not going to be a quick repair. Felcher is a new signing. Like when Felcher's contract is up at the end of the year, it's Araujo. It's a piece you already have. If Araujo is better than Felcher right now, conceivably Araujo would be starting at right back. That's not an option. That doesn't work yet. Insua is your left back, is your starting left back to go, period. Bingham.
For who knows how long.
Bingham, I think, is on his last year. So, you may get some relief at goalkeeper, but at least as of right now, it's still Steris and I guess Pipo. I mean, it probably should be Depew, but I guess it's Pipo.
Yeah, do you think Depew won his spot on the last game or no?
I think Jesus Vasquez at G2 won his spot at the Houston game. Like, I don't understand how people keeps playing games. It doesn't make. I understand it. I just don't like it. I don't. There's no quick fix in this scenario. Like, there's no quick fix. There's no just getting it done. Mm-hmm. You can't just keep signing first-team players and just keep loading up your roster and then somehow flip it over the next year. We've been trying. You say it. We've been trying to do an active rebuild for 5 years. And it just keeps rebuilding and rebuilding and rebuilding. But every year at the end of the season, you look at the roster and goes, tear the whole thing down and start over. You can't. That's not the way guaranteed contracts work.
Well, that's the problem, man. Like, after you keep blowing shit up, the foundation is what's the problem. And it's been 5 years, and Klein has yet to put a championship caliber team on the field.
Yeah. I mean, there was an argument from a lot of people, and I didn't necessarily agree with it or co-sign with it, but there was a lot of people who seemed to agree that, or seemed to be of the opinion that the 2016 team should have been able to do something. So your Nigel, your Yella, what's the kid's name? Nigel, Yella, Alan Gordon in his big man pump, Keno's still there, Gerard contributing. I'm personally, from what I've seen, I haven't seen a Giovanni Dos Santos team that I thought was capable of winning it, of kind of going the distance. 2016 probably the closest that you're going to get. Although maybe him and Zlatan could have worked really well in that last year, but that was all psychology and his own. I don't want to speak on anybody's mentality, but his own mental well-being.
Can you imagine how broken Gio would have been with Zlatan yelling at him all the time?
Probably wouldn't have showed up. That's probably part of the reason he didn't want to show up.
I know, right?
Probably part of the reason he was like, I'm good, man. I'm straight. The 2016
monies, please.
The 2016 team is the argument, but like, what have you done? Really, what have you done besides trading a guy who could have been a one club man? Like trading AJ out, undoing Kobe's jersey retirement.
But even with that 2016 team, they brought in, oh my God, the midfielder. I'm sorry,
Steven Gerrard.
No.
Nigel de Jong.
And
hang on, say it one more time.
Nigel de Jong.
Oh God damn, I missed that man.
I mean, they brought him on like, hey, we're gonna pay you like little money.
He was gonna get the Zlatan deal,
but we're gonna make you DP next year, and the team honestly screwed him. Like, there's no ways about it.
Yeah,
they lied to that dude. They straight up lied to that dude.
There's a lot of issues with that I'll tell you when we're done.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's there's just not a good infrastructure.
But that's what I'm going back to. But that's what it's like. It's still the foundation of this team that is. It's poor. It's a poor foundation. You have Klein, who, let's be honest, it's been a failure for him.
As president?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a failure.
Well, he's got the 2014 title on his resume, technically.
As a president or vice president?
As president.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. whether that was his operation.
Yeah.
Not whether it was, sorry, I shouldn't say that because he definitely was. But more, I should say more, whether there was as we say, whether there was an infrastructure in place to continue to make, and this is going to be a hard argument because for me, the 2014 team was the best Galaxy soccer that I've got to watch live. Probably 2010, but I really enjoyed the 2014 team. If it's between those two for me. Really, really pretty soccer, but a declining organization because you have Keane getting older. You have Donovan ready to walk out. Beckham is gone. Like Gio is on the horizon. Gerrard is on the horizon. Like two guys the coaching staff didn't want. The Guardians of the Galaxy backline decimated. Todd Donovan ready to walk. Like Todd Donovan, good. Gargan gonna get flipped really soon. Like in a team that's ready to transition and ready to flip, they got that last ring. But the rebuild wasn't ready. The rebuild wasn't on the cusp. And we've been attempting to fix that 2015, 2016 rebuild ever since. You know, you have Jermaine Jones failed in the midfield. Nigel de Jong didn't work out in the midfield. Steven Gerrard definitely didn't hit the highs they expected. There's Alessandrini. We love him, but it didn't work. Yella, we love him, but it didn't work. Zlatan, we love him, but it didn't work. Like there's all these fixes to certain spots, but there's not a uniform top to bottom tune-up or complete overhaul. Really, is what we need at this point. But because we weren't doing tune-ups when we had the opportunity to do tune-ups, now we need a completely rebuilt transmission.
Well, that's what made that 5-year period amazing, is that you had good teams at one or two spots we were sketchy, and then you would bring in a guy to fill that void.
Mm-hmm.
If it worked or not, then the next year it was always small adjustments here and there, tweaks exactly. And a guy would go out, like you'd see Bruce, who would bring in like a veteran, match him with a young guy, a young rookie, so they can learn.
Berhalter and Gonzalez.
Exactly. So when they retire, and then you have that foundation of that player has a year, 2 years, or whatever, under the guidance of that player.
The tutelage,
yeah. So
I like that word.
But what do we have now? Is you don't have guys. I mean, we have plenty of youth players. I mean, look at our bench for this tournament. It's literally all Galaxy 2 players. And obviously, like academy guys, some academy guys who came straight up, but whatever. They don't have that guidance from players.
Mm-mm. The closest you get is Araujo and Felcher. Like, there's no two ways about it. Felcher's 1-year contract signing is to, have him there as a senior first-team right back to help get Araujo ready, to help teach him, hopefully a little bit of positioning. For the love of God, teach him. If you can help him with a cross, it would be amazing. And to buy time for this kid to get ready. Like, that's the one example of it. But it's like, where's the person that's getting Efrain ready?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the and I'm sure Hernandez is helping him out. The Galaxy love to post the photos. But like, where's the attacking midfielder to help out your up and coming attacking midfielder? Like, people shouldn't be calling on Efrain to start. It would be great if he was ready to start, but he's not. And the fact that you're at such you're so far behind everyone else in the league at being ready, at like we showed up not ready to work twice. We showed up not ready to work in game 1 against Houston, and we showed up not ready to work in game 1 of MLS is back tournament, whatever, against Portland. Like, we're not ready. It's like we need a third offseason or another transfer window to fix what was a massive glaring hole after last year. Even last year, Zlatan needed service. And at least with last year, you had Fabio, you had Pavon, who was unguardable because Zlatan by himself draws 3 defenders.
Yeah, you had guys who, like you said, Fabio, Antuna, you had these guys who could actually draw a defender.
Who makes other teams work. We don't have that. Head coach says like, oh, the team gave up. Bruh, that's on you. That's fucking on you.
Yeah, you're the coach. You're supposed to motivate them to get up for games.
I can't understand a coach being like, they gave up and not looking around and being like, oh shit, I'm probably going to get fired.
Yeah.
Because we're bad and they're not fighting for me. Like they're bad and they're not listening to what I'm saying. Like
because you're only putting yourself in a position where, yeah, they can fire you, dude. They can't fire 18 guys.
No. Well, look, not even they can't fire 18 guys. I can name you 3 right now that they're definitely not going to fire. They're not firing Pavon. They're not firing Jonathan. They're not firing Hernandez.
Right.
If 2 of those 3 aren't listening to you and giving up, and one of them just got here and makes all the money that the league has ever given out to anyone. One dude makes all the fucking money. I watched, oh God, who was it? Argentina and someone. Fuck, I can't believe I've forgotten this already. I watched Argentina and someone in the World Cup, in the 2018 World Cup round of 16. So someone in the YouTube chat wants to look up for me really quick who Argentina played in the round of 16 at the 2018 World Cup. I watched part of that game today. Christian Pavon starts on the right side of Lionel Messi in that game. You can't make that guy work. You can't make a guy who's trying to get back to World Cup round of 16s with the greatest player in the history of the game. They played France. That's it. They played France. Everyone lost to France. But you can't motivate that dude to be like, yo, man, we got to get back. And every game you play on the field, this is you getting back.
Yeah, and I feel like he's overcompensating now, and it's kind of hurting his game.
Pavon? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he looks frustrated.
Yeah.
He looks really, really frustrated. And I guess coming to the Galaxy makes sense when, you're coming to the Galaxy and we're going to use this as a launching pad. You're going to play with Zlatan Ibrahimovic. You're going to play with Chicharito. I doubt I mean, with all due respect to everyone and nobody lose their mind, I doubt he really knew who Jonathan was when he got here. That doesn't seem like someone who would be too high on his radar. But you're going to get to play with Zlatan Ibrahimovic. We're going to pay you. We're going to flip you when it's time.
Zlatan and then guys like Perisic.
But who do we flip him to?
At this point, he's going back to Boca.
He's going to Boca. Of course he's going
back
to
to Boca Juniors. Yeah.
Like, if we bought him, outside of dragging... This is look. Christian Pavon.
You got to feel bad for these dudes who are just wasting their career.
Christian Pavon.
We wasted 2 years of Zlatan. We're wasting.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna waste a year and a half of Pavon. Read
Zlatan's like leaving Twitter post, and tell me that dude doesn't think you guys wasted my fucking time. You wasted my time playing with has-beens and never were's. And never will be for most of them. You wasted my time. You wasted my time being backed up by David Bingham. You wasted my time having Rolf Felcher as my right back. You wasted my time having Sebastian Lletget play as my attacking midfielder. Zlatan Ibrahimovic. You want me to show how much you're wasting my time? Let me show you how much you're wasting my time. 18 months later, I'm going to go tear it up in a drastically better league. And drag one of the legendary clubs in the world back into Europe. That's how much you wasted my fucking time. Zlatan Ibrahimovic in 2019 couldn't get in 2018 rather, couldn't get the LA Galaxy into the playoffs, but he's got an AC Milan back to Europe. And if you follow Milan at all, and I called him Milan instead of Milan, that's just for you. If you follow them at Milan. If you follow them if you followed them at all over the last 8-10 years maybe?
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a while.
Yeah, they've been bad for a long
time. If you followed them for a while, I mean, it's a miracle. It's a miracle what that dude was able to show up at 38 and do. Tell me we didn't waste that man's fucking time. Tell me we didn't waste AEG's money. All the money is about the picture. It's all about the picture. It's why you all keep seeing Beckham's picture. That's why you all see Donovan's picture. That's why you all see Keane's picture. They love the championship photo with the big name, with the big guy, because it helps sell the brand.
Oh my God. I can't even imagine like having like a Zlatan raising the MLS Cup on the side of like a building in downtown LA.
What do you think the goal was, man? With LAFC in their first couple of years, what do you think the goal was?
Oh yeah.
It's all about the pictures, man. It's all about the recognition. It's all about when, you know what it's about? It's about when Zlatan retires and the graphic comes up with all his titles, and one of them is an MLS Cup. That's what it's all about. It's all about building, spreading the brand, so that at some point in the future they can flip the Galaxy and it'll be worth as much money as possible. So it's the name of the game. Failure doesn't seem to matter anymore. Like, that's my outlook. I don't understand. GBS lost me. We talked about it, right? I think it was the LAFC game. GBS lost. I'm done. I was probably done during Portland.
When he's sitting there with like his chin in his hand, like
all of it. What would seem like you don't want to be there.
yeah.
Like, move. I'll coach a team. We'll have the exact same fucking results. And at least I'll be happy doing it. We will have literally the same results. All the players are going to get pissed off because I'm going to be like, oh, did you know you're the 16th number 6 in Galaxy history? I know you don't care about it, but here's a list of all the number 6s that came before you. Eddie Lewis wore number 6. He played left back and left mid. Nobody's going to care. Literally no one's going to care. I will get the exact same results, if not better. I would have gotten a better result against LAFC. Because you punch like 3 or 4 people in the neck and they forfeit you the game 3-0. We would have had more dignity if we forfeited the fucking match. But he sits in his job.
Chris would have been like, "We're not going back out.
We're going out.
We're going back.
We're done. Look, you guys want to give up? Take your ass to the fucking locker room. We're finished. Ref, you give us whatever score you got to give us. These guys are done. No. Take your jersey off. Leave them here. Go to the back. You're done. You don't get to wear that anymore."
What was that team that made their like players take off their jerseys because they weren't wearing it? Like some Turkish team, I think.
It's always.
I feel like they like lost. I forgot they like lost. Maybe it was like they lost like some rivalry match.
Something crazy. Yeah, I off the top of my head, I don't know. Ben will look it up. I'm sure it was. Oh, it looks like it was the Ukrainian team, Karpaty Lviv, Karpaty Lviv. Yeah, the fans went crazy. They chanted that their own team were shit during the game, and then as they were rioting, forced the team to stop and remove their jerseys before they walked off the field. Like, I'm not saying do that. If anything, definitely don't do that. But again, I'd have more respect for the entire organization if they were like, coronavirus is too crazy, we ain't going. Coronavirus is too nuts.
In hindsight, man, it would have saved so much face.
Yeah, it would have saved a lot of face. But I could get the same results. I get the exact same results, GBS. Exact same.
You can get 2 draws in 5 games.
I could walk out. I
think if the team coached themselves, like they would get
exactly
as good or if not better results.
Exactly. If you walked out and was like, you've all been playing soccer 20-something years. Go do what you do. Go play your game. What's the worst that happens? You lose 6-2? You can't figure out 6 goals? You can't figure out 2 goals. You tell them, here, go on out, run on out, have a good time, play. And in the 3 matches you have, I expect you to figure out how to score more than 4 goals. Is that too much to ask? Guy who,
technically
looking at you.
Technically 3 goals.
3, yeah. Because one is an own goal. Guy who played next to Lionel Messi in a round of 16, the World Cup finals. Apparently Jesus, soccer Jesus. Go figure it out. You can't figure out more than 3 goals in a tournament. But, and look, you guys may agree with me, and you probably shouldn't. I'm usually wrong. I disagree with myself constantly. But if you agree with me, if you do agree with us as an entity, as a show, imagine the organization being like, yeah, well, we'll give him to the end of the year. It's not bad enough that he won against Minnesota and then lost to LAFC. That all the Galaxy's losses against LAFC come under that dude's watch. Doesn't matter that we played awful soccer the first 2 games of the season. Took a 4-month hiatus, came back, played awful soccer. Doesn't matter. None of it matters that we've played 5 games and we've drawn 2.
Yeah.
And everything else been a big old L. Doesn't matter that you're holding up the bottom of the league. Doesn't matter. None of it matters. You know why? GBS we trust, man. I'm not on board with getting the dude from America. I don't know how to say his name. But I'm not on board with getting. Look, if it happens, whatever. Cool.
Well, you want a dude who's animated on the sideline? That's definitely a fucking guy.
You know what I want? This is what I want, Ted. You know what I'll take? We got a question about it last week. I still don't want Caleb Porter. But you know who I do want? I'll take Dom. You know why? But look, what am I going to get with GBS?
I thought you mean like if we fired GBS and like who would you be?
Fire him right now. Fire him tomorrow.
And leave Dom for the rest
and
of the year?
Put Dom. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? At least if you fire GBS and you put Dom in for the rest of the year, at the end of the season, there's going to be a whole crop of coaches that you can go pick up, that you can go find who's the guy for you. And GBS is gone. We all know Dom's not going to get the job. So if Dom took over for the rest of the year, I got no problem with it. But I'm done with GBS. He may turn the season around. And if he turns the season around, I'll go, oh my God, thank God he figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, I don't want to be right. I want the Galaxy to be good. I would rather be wrong and have the Galaxy be good. But when we talked a couple weeks before the tournament started about people saying, why aren't we favorites? It's like, hey man, we got to be realistic. And being realistic, we aren't good. So if I'm going to be realistic, today, what is it? As of right now, it's the 28th. By the time you listen to this, probably be the 29th or sometime in August. That's okay too. Whenever you get around to it, appreciate the download. He may turn it around, but based on the information I have today, I'm good, man. I'm fucking good.
Yeah.
When your tactics are shit, your signings are shit, and everyone's quit on you, at that point, I'm fucking good. Good.
I can't imagine in 3 weeks that things are going to change.
It didn't change in 4 months.
Yeah, exactly.
It didn't. Let me put it into real terms for you. Let me put it into real, simple, easy terms for you. It didn't change in 7 months of not playing soccer, of not having a soccer game to play, not middle of the season, middle of the year. We got an injury during the season. None of that. In 7 months of not playing soccer, nothing changed. What makes you think 3 weeks is going to change? What makes you think 7 months right now is the end of the season? It looks like twice over at least.
Yeah.
From what they want to do. In 7 months of not having soccer, you're playing the exact same style. You have no ideas. So to that point, give me Dom. Dom can cross the ball 27 times in a game.
Yeah, you're not going to get anything different or anything worse.
I might get something different.
Yeah.
And if I get something worse, what problem should the administration have to saying, hey, caretaker manager, thank you, but we're cutting you. Or, hey, caretaker manager, thank you, but it's time to go back to assistant managing. This is the person we're bringing in. But I know what I got out of the main guy. I get that. I'm good. 3 transfer windows. 2 off seasons in 1 year. 2 off seasons in 1 year. And you took a point out of the tournament. Fuck off, man. I'm done with you. That's just me. Again, I don't know. For you people who care about my opinion, it's your business. But me sitting at home, me walking my son, me, cleaning my turtle, which is not a euphemism. I'm done.
What's
I'm
up,
good.
Michael?
Cuckoo.
Shout out to Michael.
Yeah.
No, he's listening.
Snaps always. I'm good.
So, but I mean, isn't it, what's it going to take at this point for AEG to come in and be like, hey, it's not working? And like, top bottom, like, we got to change shit.
Honestly, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. We finished dead last. We made the playoffs and got eliminated after the first round. We've wasted tens of millions of dollars. Like, we've wasted enough money where we shouldn't. There's an argument right now online about the NWSL team. I don't know how much you want to talk about it, but there's an argument online about the NWSL team. We've wasted enough money where that shouldn't even be a conversation. We've wasted so much money. We should be in a position where the LAFC fans say, there's no way in hell I'm supporting the Galaxy's NWSL team. Because just in the money this current administration has wasted in the last 2 seasons, could have fielded one. Easy.
Right.
I don't know. I genuinely don't know what it would take. If anything, whenever it finally happens at this point, that's the part of the article I'm looking for. Like, what was the tipping point?
Mm-hmm.
Because it wasn't results. It wasn't how you built a roster. It wasn't connection to the fan base. It wasn't any of that. It was none of that. So what was it? What is the thing? Somebody's got to touch somebody. That's what it is. Somebody's going to get inappropriate and like put a hand where they're not supposed to or say something they're not supposed to. It's the only thing that at this point I believe is going to change anything.
Yeah, because we've gone 5 years, like you said, being literally the worst team in the league, throwing away money at Gio just to get him to go away, spending a crap ton of money on Zlatan.
Selling a blue chip homegrown player that you've built a portion of your marketing around. Selling that dude, or trading that dude rather, then selling the player you traded him for to raise the funds to buy out the guy you need to buy out.
First playing him at right back.
After you played him at right back, yeah. Who then got flipped and is thriving.
Yeah.
And hey, man, good on him. Hope he comes back someday. I told you guys you shouldn't have been all shitting on Giassi back then. But whatever.
Oh man, I'm trying to think of like how he would have reacted playing with Zlatan.
He just shut his mouth and played.
Because he did really well with Keane, who was a yeller.
He just shut his mouth and played.
I think he would have actually thrived under Zlatan.
Absolutely. You know what the thing with Giassi is? He's so unconventional. Because you never really knew where he was going to go. It wasn't like a straight line to where he was going. The ball could have bounced anywhere. Giassi may have been there. He may have been there. I would have loved Zlatan and like 2014 Alan Gordon.
Holy shit. They would have fought each other.
Just two psychopaths.
They would definitely have gotten like a brawl on the training field.
Alan Gordon slid up to he's used to the environment. I think Gordo would have been fine. But I would have loved to see those two play because then you just toss a long ball up. Doesn't even matter who gets it. They're both world class. they're both equally talented.
Yeah, that'd have been amazing. All right. Speaking of how we thought of players, we're gonna grade the players because we talked about last week where we graded the team overall and then we graded GBS on his performance. So we divvied up the players. I divvied up for Chris, for Ben, and myself. So, Ben hasn't really spoken that much on this episode. I want to give him the first go. Benjamin, who do you want to start out with?
Let's just start at the top with Araujo. If I got to give Araujo a grade, I'm going to be a little lenient on him. I'm not going to be super hard because if we learned anything this tournament, we learned that he's not a winger. You know? So, I mean, the guy, he was out there, he was playing hard. I'm going to give the dude a C. That's about as high a grade I think any player on this roster can get. So,
what's the rules for this game?
We'll comment.
I mean, when you look, he played 145 minutes. He had 2 shots, both of them were on goal, and he had 2 fouls committed.
As a right winger who is a right back.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not bad.
So, yeah.
Being fair, this is what I should encourage from the group, if you will. And I don't want to take over your game. I'm all on board with your game. But I think it would be fair to give them grades within the bubble of the situation we're in. If you give them grades, if you give any of these guys grades based on being a Galaxy player, everyone here is going to get a fail.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to get a fail. It's not going to be fun. But if you do this within the prism of the tournament we just played. And I think Julian probably deserves closer to a B, given that he's a young right back being asked to play right wing.
Asking basically asked to contribute the most.
Yeah. And then that's how you decide to play your game. It's you're setting a kid up for failure. There's not and then if anything, I would say he probably deserves some bonus points for being a young player, right? Being a young player who is coming through the system, fighting for minutes. There was an opening and you took it. Gordon Wild could have played right wing. Dunbar could have gone back out there. I believe Koriniak is hurt right now, but you could have played Pavone on the right side and shuffled someone over to the left.
I mean, Zubak had plenty of minutes.
Zubak could have played right wing.
Yeah.
Leggett could have moved to the right wing. Like in all those circumstances, Araujo went out and made those minutes count, good or bad. he locked that spot down. That's, for me, that should be a positive.
No, I feel you. I just, like I was saying, like I finished with, I think that the whole team played like shit.
Yeah, it's hard to argue.
The thing is that it's not his fault. It's not necessarily his fault. I'm not saying it's like Ed. If Ed takes an advanced math class, the dude gets a C, he's gonna be happy with that shit.
Hell yeah.
I'm actually really good at math, but okay.
Are you really?
Yes,
I didn't know that about you. You do wear glasses, so I do assume you're smart.
Yeah, thank you.
But if it's not his fault, he shouldn't receive a C then. Like I think I assume
I
this all culminates with us grading GBS.
I get Ben's argument that no one should deserve over like okay, and I get that's a C. Like you're okay.
Just you wait till I get to mine.
Okay.
Somebody's getting an A out of this.
Oh, all right. Oh, I think I know who you're talking about too. Yeah.
So do I. It was taken from me. From me.
Yeah.
So C for
you guys can deal with it. If it happens once in 4 centuries, you'll learn to live.
I think I agree with Ben. Like, I think overall it's a C performance, but if you're taking into account like he's a right back, you're putting him at a right wing, and asking him to pretty much be your focal on assisting on goals. Which, I mean, his crosses were better, than they were in the past.
Yeah.
I mean, but they still were like not where they should be.
Sure. And when he plays right back, make sure he doesn't cross the ball.
Yeah.
But he can't play right back because he's playing right wing, and crossing the ball to no one. But that's again, you're not convincing me. We should do like a fucking talk me into some shit. But you guys have to do like some legit prep work for that.
Yeah, I know.
You have to do a lot of prep work.
It's nearly impossible to change your mind on anything, so I don't think that's even a fun game.
Erica's laughing at that.
Yeah.
Like,
Stop rolling your eyes, Erica.
All right, Tucker, who's your first player?
I want to save my. I'm gonna save my fire because I got a fire burning in me for this one. I will take. See, I genuinely didn't expect you. I'll take Bingham first.
Starting out hot.
Bro, I'm looking the list you gave me. I mean, I see what you're doing here.
I swear to you.
Is it really random?
I random. And I went 1 through 6 I gave to Ben. I gave 7 through whatever to you.
Wow.
It's not really random, is it?
And then
random.
I put it in a random list.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah,
it sounded like you did.
Sorry. I put it in a random generator and then let it go, and then I divvied it up.
Okay.
And then I forgot Zubac, so then we had to.
So you guys,
because when I look at the roster, it's like, yeah.
So you see what I see, right?
Yeah,
I was like, oh, once it came up, I was like, I see what he did.
Yeah, me too.
I see what he's doing, and
I swear
it's not a bad call.
I swear
you made the right call for the show. That's what you should do. So you guys pay attention when my turn comes up. Pay attention to the names Ed gave me. Just keep a little list in your mind of the names that Ed gave me to see if you can't see him trying to steer the show in a general direction. That was my only thing when I saw it. There's nothing wrong with that. You did your job.
I swear that didn't happen.
I'll start on Bingham. Oof.
Woof indeed. Woof indeed, sir.
So I have his stats again, thanks to Ed. 270 minutes played, 9 goals against, with 13 saves. Not a great goals against average. You can't really. A lot of that you can't hang on him. There's definitely some. Well, hang on. Everybody, calm.
Stop yelling at your phone.
Down.
And
Stop.
in your car.
Yes. I really hope. I hope no one crashed. We're not on the hook for this if you did. I can't hang. So Andrew's in the YouTube chat right now. You see this?
Yeah.
Andrew's in the YouTube chat right now saying, "Let's remember Tucker tried to defend Bingham last year."
Angel's in the chat too, so he's big Bingham fan.
Hey, look, let's get it on. We'll address it in pieces. Number 1, I hang a lot of goals on him. Let me rephrase it. I hang a lot of goals on him. I don't hang all of them. You are
because we could just talk that Houston game.
Free kick alone. Oh no! Don't get me wrong. This summary is going to conclude with him getting a D. In part because his backline is awful. If his backline were better, and he still put in the performance he did, go straight to an F-. But I'm trying to keep this in the bubble of, as someone said in the live chat, grading on a curve. Yes, Benjamin.
Under the convince me argument, Tucker,
the
average score of an NHL hockey game, total goals, is 6.1 goals.
Okay, really? That high?
Yeah, the average score.
That's because you can't hit anybody anymore.
The average score of a soccer game, 2.71 goals.
Yeah.
Bingham goals against average, 3.
Wow.
You know where he ranks in NHL goalies?
Near the bottom, dead last, I'd imagine.
Near the bottom, yeah.
I mean, it's a difference. Drastically wider net for one, less padding, and usually more competent defenders. Not always, but usually. No, I give him a D only because his back line is awful. He is on the hook for a lot of those goals.
Yeah.
But you look at his nine goals against, 6 of them are against LAFC when everyone stopped trying. Everyone stopped trying, and the head coach refused to make substitutions. Bingham is not good. There is a strange expectation. Let me touch on Andrews first. Yes, I defended Bingham last season, and I wouldn't even say I defended him. I gave information about him, which to some like angry emotional people comes out as defense. But I gave information and stats about him based on the information that was readily available back then. If in 2019 I had his stats for 2020, I probably would be a little closer to where you were in 2019. But looking at where he was in 2019, he still faced and saved the most shots. But again, you have to factor in this dude's backline. Like, it is what it is. He has a horrible defense sitting in front of him. That doesn't save him from being at best an average keeper. On his best day, an average keeper. On his absolute best day, an average keeper. He still doesn't catch the ball. He's still a decent shot stopper. He's just not a smart goalkeeper. He parries the ball back into traffic.
And for someone to be so average to poor and to be paid so much, it's just
he's paid a decent amount. Yeah, he's paid enough. This is the benefit to David Bingham, because for me, I'm writing the season off. For me, I'm done with this year. The upside to how much Bingham makes is you can go get a decent goalkeeper for that dude's salary if you're holding on to an international spot and can go grab somebody else. I historically, I haven't been really big on signing foreign goalkeepers just because historically there was such a pool of quality American goalkeeping depth. That doesn't seem to be the case really anymore. So I'm prepared to kind of move overseas to go get a goalkeeper. I'm all finished on Bingham. But yeah, I give him a D only because everyone else was so bad.
I can see that. I mean, yeah, you can't say he had a horrible performance in each game. I'd be like, okay, cool. But again, like you said, the amount of shots he takes because of a terrible defense. I mean, it's a D- performance. I would, yeah.
Yeah. It's not to say that he was good. It's not to say he was acceptable. It's to say there are extenuating circumstances in him being as bad as he was. So looking at it in the bubble of what we all went through and experienced together, a D- seems fair to me.
He made 375 last year.
Oof.
Yeah, I mean,
remember when Sean Franklin won at 250? And I understand it was a long time ago, and I'm still mad about it. But remember, a long time ago, but 250 is too much. Anyway.
All right. I'll go for my first one. Rolf Felcher. Got my notes right here. Played all 3 games, all 90 minutes. Actually had a shot, not on goal though.
Sounds like him.
Yeah, and then
consistent.
4 fouls committed, no fouls suffered.
Attaboy, Rolf.
Yeah, just dishing them out, not taking them. It's fine. It was a typical Rolf Felcher performances, like in all 3 games, where nothing stood out. It was more bad than positive. And then you have, obviously, there's a reason why Araujo started 2 games in front of him.
Yeah, that is more defensive cover.
That's what I mean.
Oh, yeah, he needs the help.
Yes.
I see what you mean.
So you have Araujo there where he's a natural right back. So when you have Felcher, who is constantly running up the field to help an attack, my man is still not good, and he's really bad, like really bad.
Yeah, we talked about it when Daisy said.
That's what I was like. Even she was like, "My dude's gone."
The moment Daisy said, "Rolf's got to go,"
that's when you know it's done.
That's it.
You know it's done.
Yeah, that's it.
You know it's done. On a grade, you got to get. You can't go higher than a D.
I think, yeah.
On pretty much any defender.
This might be. Well, yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I agree with that. I'm not sure I agree with that.
But yeah, doesn't help out defensively. It doesn't help out offensively. So
man's got bars.
What do you bring?
He can sing. He got that doo-wop.
He sang happy birthday to someone one time and was like,
I think
that's
it's Corona.
Yeah, I mean, that I will be very happy to see him not on this team come next season. That's for sure.
I hope you're correct.
Yeah. Benjamin,
Well, you will be correct.
let's go with your second one.
All right. Well, while we're talking defenders, we'll go with Depew or Depew.
Depew.
Pew Pew.
Pew, pew, pew.
And I'm going to disagree with you because I am, judging by what he did in the tournament, I'm giving Depew a B. I'll give him a B. The only game he played, the Houston game, the game we only allowed one goal, and that was Bingham getting caught cheating, all legit and everything. But so yeah, he gets a B.
There is a ball. I can cut the video clip for you, but there is a ball that Nick Depew plays over the top to Zubac from center back, like a long through ball over the top. A FIFA pass you've all made. No one else on the back line's pulling that off. I don't know if he regularly has that in his locker as something that he can pull out and launch an attack.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's something he regularly has and can do. I haven't seen him enough, to be honest. But I'll cut it for you. It's a hell of a pass. It's an absolute hell of a pass. It gets wasted, of course, because you heard where it went.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful through ball through I think 2 or 3 defenders right over the top, perfectly placed.
You gotta love a defender who can play a ball, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I agree. As a perfect score.
And the one thing about Depew, I will say, is that if they keep playing Giancarlo, is he going to stick around? Is someone like Depew, he's
yeah,
or does he take first chance to say, you know what, I'm out of here. You guys are going to play the money.
You know what? For as much as our stock has dropped, and it should have, you're still on the Galaxy. Like if you're on the Galaxy, you are. Ask what's the kid's name? Ask Kevin Harms if there isn't something to sitting on the bench for the Galaxy, because you're still going to get an all expenses paid flight to Australia. Like there are other benefits that come with playing on the Galaxy. You're here and you're young and you're still competing for a spot. Yeah, you're going to start. You'll start at Cincinnati. You might start at RSL, but you can hang out here. The guys above you are terrible. They're awful. Like you can hang out here for a little bit. And you may be able to work your way into that spot. Steris found a way to work his way into the spot. Romney deserved to have worked his way into the spot. If it wasn't for a fucking moron that's running the team, he'd probably still be here. And it's not to say that Romney is this big savior, but that's someone who worked their way into the lineup. They deserve to have played more often. Steris is someone who worked his way into the lineup, deserved to play more often.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't see a whole lot of that. We don't see the guys that deserve to play actually playing.
It's an administrative issue.
Yeah.
I want to disagree with your grade a little bit. I think I'd give him an A.
Wow.
I genuinely think I'd give him an A. If you have to look at someone whose stock rose dramatically in this tournament, if only through subtraction of everyone else, if only through everyone being like, oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Steris really isn't that good.
If you're going to give everyone a positive grade,
yeah,
it's going to be that dude.
Steris really isn't all that great. And Pipo Gonzalez is awful. Wow, that Nick Depew kid looks pretty damn good.
Oh, Steris gets a letter grade ticking down just for that miss.
Just that flub fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, a B is a fair grade. If you gave, that's what I should say. B is a fair grade. If you gave him an A, I wouldn't have thought you were crazy. Because if there was someone who worked into it, it probably would have been him.
All right, Tucker, your next player.
My next player, Andrew goes, Depew's getting traded tomorrow.
Yeah.
My next player, let me look at my list to see who I got. I want to roll with the defense. I'm going to keep the defense going. Big Pipo. Ooh,
Big game Pipo.
Daddy. Big match Pipo.
All in Pipo.
Yes, literally all in. Because if GBS should live and die by any of his signings, it should fucking be Pipo Gonzalez. Pipo's my first big, massive, wet, fat, sticky, fail, fucking useless. One of the worst defenders I've ever seen. We're talking Eduardo Dominguez levels. We're talking Abel Xavier year 2 levels. We're talking Yella Von Dam going through a divorce, got shit on his mind levels.
Stalking his wife.
We're talking Andrew Boyens levels. Awful. awful, and makes more than all of them. He makes twice as much as my most hated player, which is Eduardo Dominguez, not Gio, makes twice as much as what Eduardo Dominguez makes, came from Europe, and is fucking useless. Top to bottom, no leadership. There is a G2 kid who should take your spot. There is a G2 kid who got promoted from last year in Nick DePew who should take your spot. Daniel Steris should take your spot. Dave Romney should come back and take your fucking spot. Michael Ciani should come back and take your spot. You're garbage. Needs to go. And ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. I'm genuinely trying to remove negativity from my life. I'm trying to become a more positive person.
Well, this is you. This is you letting it go.
This is how we get
you letting the negativity go.
The demon seed out.
Exactly.
I'm gonna get you one of those like little rake Zen garden things. Like,
yeah, that's what I need. I need a bonsai tree, man. I'm really I feel for my Zen, man. I got my Zen in line.
Maybe I'll break out the black card. We'll get you a bonsai tree and a little Zen garden.
Oh, I would love to like get all amped up and then just be like, George, can you draw me cutting a bonsai tree, please?
And he's like,
fuck motherfucking kids, you goddamn baby, coronavirus, fucking Trump, GVS.
Oh man, that's a beautiful tree though.
It's gonna be no leaves. No leaves whatsoever. Yeah, Pipo is disgusting. Disgusting. I'm genuinely trying to keep negativity out of my lane. So I probably should have just passed on this whole list. I'm done.
Doesn't he? Anytime you see his name on the sheet, you're just like, well,
he's good for one.
There's that game.
But this is the problem, man. It's Jelvik, it's Ciani. You look at him and you go, he's good for one. He's good for one.
Yeah.
Minimum. And I won't even go to where that keeps going because I got another guy on my list that's good for one. But every time I see him play, I'm like, he's fucking good for one. He's always good for one.
And then when he does it, you're like, well, that wasn't never going to happen.
No, when it doesn't happen, I go, good, man. That's your goddamn job.
Yeah.
That's literally what you're here to do. Now I know why Bologna was so happy to fucking get rid of him. Terrible. And an indictment on the administration that it's now been Sjelvik, Ciani, Insua, Pipo, Felcher. Every time you guys get a chance to sign someone up, you fuck it up. But AJ can't hang out. I'm not saying he should still be he should still be playing.
You ship off Rodney.
I'm not saying he should still be starting for us. But AJ is someone you absolutely got to move. Romney is someone you absolutely got to move. Got to get rid of him as soon as you can. Like, I don't understand. Whatever. Pipo, garbage, fail, get out, done.
All right. Next one on my list. It'll be real quick. I'm not going to give him a letter grade because he played 1 minute of this entire tournament, and that is.
Hey, he makes my spreadsheet.
That is Harvey. He played 1 minute.
A.
NA.
You know why? Because he was smart enough to not play anymore.
There you go.
He's like, I'm a G2 player. Don't take me with.
But I'll move on to Pavon.
Gishan.
It's hard to grade him because my dude is playing with absolute garbage. This man should be on a championship level team. I mean, he's a gold bar hanging out with a bunch of turds. Like, that's what it is.
Is that the 2020 Ferrari and Fiat?
Yes.
Okay.
As much as I really like him as a player, you saw a lot of things that were not exactly good qualities. Him overcompensating for the lack of teammates' playing ability, and he got caught a lot of times during the season or this tournament. One thing you thought he would be good at would be dribbling at players, but got shipped many times throughout this tournament, which was very disappointing to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to give him a B-. I don't think he deserves a C. I think he tried his damnedest to bring this team to some sort of pride or some sort of just to not look like the absolute garbage team that they are. So I'm going to give him a B-.
What do you say, Ben?
I disagree. I think he's a C.
Really?
I do.
Go for it.
No, I mean, look at what he did.
I want to do this every game. I like this. This game is fun.
I know we are going to be MCU. This is going to be an MCU podcast.
I'm going to be quicker. I'm going to be quicker on the rest of my promise.
No,
I have a lot of
It's
people to
hard
be mad
for
at
him. Yeah. Look at his goals. Look at the goals he scored. What were his goals, Ed?
He scored the penalty,
Penalty retake.
Which he retook.
the goalie got off the line early, but it was a really bad penalty at the first one.
And the other goal?
The other goal was
Penalty.
Another penalty.
Penalty, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Fucking tournament.
Yeah. He didn't score from the run of play. I mean, like you said, he got stripped. I mean, yeah, he tried, but I mean, I'm not going to give somebody a B- because they fucking tried.
But what run of play were we going to ever score in? Like, where do we ever have a chance other than Zubac with the 4 times that he had in the last game to score a goal?
This is, I mean, yeah, Pavon's got 2 goals. Just going through the stats that you so lovingly put together. Pavon had 270 minutes, 2 goals, 10 shots, 6 shots on goal, 2 fouls committed, 4 fouls suffered, right? He's our left winger. Like, that's not his responsibility.
That you played him as like a false 9.
10
like,
shots. 10 shots from the left wing is I mean, it's decent production. But what are you gonna expect from a guy who was amazing because people drew defenders from him? It's what we've talked about for several months now. Pavon is impossible to guard because you can't put 5 dudes on it. You can't do what Seattle did, which is put 5 guys on him and 2 guys on Zlatan because everyone else is going to tear you to pieces. But when it's just you, when it's just Pavon, you can put 5 guys on him and shut him down. Now, where I think maybe Ben's grade is fair is knowing that there wasn't all these other pieces and knowing you were still getting the ball, he still tried to dribble through 5 guys. Like, he still went after 5 dudes. That's where a C makes sense to me. But a B makes sense to me because you were it.
Yeah.
Like, he had to do it. Somebody in the YouTube said Pavon's at 80% because he's got a back injury from carrying everybody. It's fair.
That's fair.
Like, both of your grades, again, it's the Depew argument. Neither of your grades seem crazy. You know, I could be convinced of either one. Neither of your grades seem nuts. He tried to do too much, but there was also no one else. And he's a guy who played a round of 16 World Cup final against the inevitable champions, next to the best player in the world. Like, he's got to try to make something happen, you know. Mm-hmm. So I'm with both of you, really.
That's gonna be the new game. Convince Tucker.
You guys are crazy if you think I can't be swayed. I can be swayed. You just got to do your homework. You have to come with at least as much information as me.
But if we're both completely unprepared, it seems like a fair battle.
Benjamin, your next player.
Skipped over me.
Did I really?
Yeah. Pavon was. Wait, who did I do last? I did. Oh, you're right. I did Pipo. Am I bad?
Like this, baby.
Bro?
Like this, baby.
Look, I shouldn't question you.
Benjamin.
So I'm gonna start with Efrain, and I'm gonna give him an incomplete. Yeah, I just don't think that we saw enough of him. He played 19 minutes. So, and then I'll move on to Cuello.
No, well, I mean, let's talk about why Efrain only got 19 minutes. Like, what do you think was the reason why he only got so little time when, Little Messiah is coming up and he's supposed to be playing?
Incompetence.
Yeah.
Continued systematic incompetence.
And this is the
is that fair?
Also.
It's very fair. All right, moving on. What's your next one?
Well, no, I mean, like, it's kind of like the play in the money. It's like, you play people because he's making all this money.
Yeah.
I mean, Efrain is supposed to be the next big thing. Why aren't you playing Efrain? I mean,
you can play right wing.
You
can play right wing. You played a right back over him. Again, man management from GBS is awful.
Yeah,
it's awful. When you start going through the nitty gritty, he's just not good at it. It's not his strong suit. You would hope there was someone in the administration who's better at it. And you hope, and I don't know that there's not, but you hope there's someone in his coaching staff that's pulling these kids aside to say, like, hey, Efrain, you're really important. Please don't go to Wolfsburg. You're very important. Please don't go to Freiburg. Or if you do, like, we can get some money out of it. But if you're any good, please don't leave. Like, we have important plans for you. We know you're an attacking midfielder, and we need an attacking midfielder, and we're still not going to play you. But you're in our plans. We know you can play off the wings, and we're going to play Cameron Dunbar instead. But you're in our plans.
We're playing fucking legit instead.
We know we can play legit at Cam, who's been awful in every game he plays, but you're still in our plans. I hope there's someone there who's pulling these guys aside and saying, you're still in our plans. An incomplete is probably fair, but to Ed's point, there should be a deeper discussion as to why. the future soccer Jesus of your organization is registering 19 points in a tournament where you're short of bodies and you're short of attacking bodies.
So as far as Cuello goes, I'm gonna give him a C+.
I said it, boom, boom, boom.
Let me say Quail. C+. All right. Why C+?
Primarily because looking at his stat sheet, stuck in his stat line, he played 125 minutes. He had 2 shots, both of them on goal, and he committed 5 fouls and drew none. As he was playing in an attacking position every time. If he was playing a defensive midfielder, I'd give him a B for that.
Yeah, but you'd think as an attacker, you're committing more fouls and you're suffering is kind of not.
That's why he gets a C.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So he, not that like to what we were talking about earlier, he was surrounded by garbage. Maybe he's not the greatest player in the world himself.
Efren?
No, Quail.
Oh, Quail.
We moved on to Quail.
Wait, he's not.
Yeah.
He's all right.
Yeah, and maybe honestly, maybe a B would be his top potential. But I mean, I'll give him a C+.
I mean, let's be honest. Quail.
He didn't look as bad as some other players. Sorry to interrupt you.
At Quail's peak, he's gonna be a bench guy. He's not ever gonna be a starter on any team in MLS. He's just not. It's just not the quality.
No, he's a cup player. He's an open cup player. So,
but when you give him, I mean, half the minutes of the tournament, and and
he's not as bad as. So I think he was better than Lingette in the minutes that he got.
I would argue that I think 99% of people thought that he was better than Lingette.
Yeah. Anyone who disagrees with you will say he was as productive as Lingette. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you could. I don't think you're probably right.
Yeah,
you're probably right.
And so I think a C+ is a fair grade for him.
When he came on, he added some attacking intent. Yeah. I think he got a shot on goal off almost immediately from coming on. But it's another case of like, yeah, he's not good enough. You knew he wasn't good enough coming in. There's a reason prior to this you only really let him play Open Cup games.
I like Carlos in the YouTube chat says, Quail wasn't the worst. That's an achievement, I guess.
I wouldn't want to be bottom. Would you want to be Peepo in this situation?
No.
I wouldn't want to be bottom.
I definitely don't want to be legit in this situation. I'll tell you that much. That dude's getting roasted.
You saw him. He made a post, and he, I think on Instagram.
Yeah,
and he disabled the comments.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It was the trust the process.
Fuck
one.
me, man.
Oh,
I can't believe people are bringing this shit out again.
All right, Chris, your next player.
My next up, I'm going to take Sebastian Lletget.
Yeah, trust the fucking process.
Just to keep it running.
Just keep it going, baby.
Oh, shit.
Dude. Trust the fucking process. Do it.
I'll give him a C. Calm down, Ben.
Are you giving him a C for real?
No.
Okay.
No.
I gotta fucking pee.
If we saw anything from this tournament, it's that
Ben's about to go kill like a mole or something outside.
I hope that's all it is. If we saw anything from this tournament, for me, it's that we've probably all seen the cap of Sebastian Lletget. Like I can't really recall a time more people defended Gio in his last year than I've seen defend Lletget over the last week.
Yeah.
Like it's one of the few times I've seen
a collective like
a complete uniformity of Galaxy fans who are all good with Lletget taking off, which is wild because he's the closest thing to and it's not a natural position, but he's the closest thing to a starting attacking midfielder, which is exactly what we should need to unlock Hernandez. But you ain't it, man.
No.
You're not it. And I'm again trying to be peaceful. I apologize for the Peepo rant. Trying to be peaceful. I hope he finds peace in his life. It ain't here. It ain't. And look, let him go somewhere where he's going to be successful. San Jose, I think he'd thrive. He's a NorCal kid. I think he would thrive in a system like San Jose, where you're going to get unabashed love from the fans no matter what, because they're just happy you haven't left yet. They're just happy you haven't figured out San Jose's a fucking cesspit and moved on.
How much of a bloodbath would it be online if Lletget went to San Jose? That dude would be like, you're never gonna be a G again, ever. Cut him out for the promos.
I think most people are there now.
Yeah.
And you played a week ago, and most people are chilling there now. Not even a week ago. You played 4 or 5 days ago.
Yeah.
And most people are good now with never seeing you wear the jersey again. At least if he's in San Jose, he's going to get to play. He's going to play. He's going to be a starter, guaranteed. They're not going to bring anybody. He's probably one of the better quality attacking players they'd have.
I don't know, man. They moved on to the tournament. Who knows, man? Shit,
just because we're shit. But
they put on like 5 against RSL like today or something, or was it the other day?
I still hate RSL.
Dude,
but
he sucks so bad. I'd give him to San Jose.
I give him away. The trade window on him, if it's not shut, it's got to be almost worthless. It's a massive.
I still think you could get something for him in the American market because he's still.
He's not going anywhere else.
He's still yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but he's still a regular on the national team. You still have some
for Camp Cupcake.
Yeah, and I'll disagree with you because I think everyone in the American market knows him now. Everyone can see how far
There's nothing new.
Yeah. And you're not really. He's hit a ceiling. Like he's not going to get.
He's done.
Yeah,
he's done. I'm less sure. With a lot of other players, even the people that we're all kind of done with, I'm less sure about a lot of other players than I am with Leggett. If we let him go, and you look at the history of the Galaxy anyway. We very rarely let people go and watch them thrive somewhere else. You know, if anything we're good at, it's like taking everything from a player and then dumping them to another heap.
That's how it used to be.
It's like, yeah. I mean, it's who. I mean, outside of our academy kids, who leaves us and does better outside of Zlatan?
Giassi.
Giassi, yeah, Giassi counts. Yeah, oh yeah, Giassi's a big one. I don't know, Brian Ching, yeah, but Brian Ching wasn't, was
McGee when we let him
Open
go
Cup player.
To Chicago.
Yeah, we sent an MVP somewhere who won an MVP while he was there.
Yeah, I know.
But we sent someone who was 2/3 of the way through an MVP season.
We would get, players that were mediocre, even average, or just about good, use them for 2-3 years, and then ship them out when we knew it was time to go.
And you know what? At some point, I think the guy who signed Leggett would have understood we have completed that process.
Mm.
But the people who are in charge have decided that's not the case. The people who are in charge have decided we have not gotten everything out of him.
And we got to give him a raise.
But I think Bruce would have got rid of him. I think by now Bruce would have figured out I've squeezed everything out of this that I could. And it's time for me to move on.
I think he probably would have actually thrived under Bruce. Then
hey, New England, give us a fucking phone call.
Yeah.
You can call us collect.
Or give us a center back.
1-800-COLLECT. Like my man Al Bundy used to say. We'll take Andrew Farrell. Straight up. Call it a day.
There you go. I'll take that.
Garbage.
Right,
F.
next.
As in get the fuck out.
I agree with the F. My next player is Sasha. Sasha Kleshchin. Played 84 minutes, which for Sasha I thought that was a little low.
You and everyone else.
3 shots, 1 foul committed, no foul suffered.
Within the prism of what he is able to accomplish, given the tournament and the management that he has.
I mean, for what we saw from him, you gotta go like D+.
Wow. Benjamin?
For a guy who's supposed to be like your veteran.
Sure.
Like the guy who's going to be your leader. You get 84 minutes. That's bad.
I
Benjamin?
I
want to steer this because I got to keep this where it's interesting for me.
I don't think it's crazy. I don't think a D+ is crazy. I can see a C- also.
That's why I was between like a low C and a high D. But I went with the lesser of two because all these players are.
Yeah, I mean, when he was on the field, serviceable, maybe the best.
I thought when he started, it was he looked good. But then it's just how, and again, it's this administration and not playing these guys who could change things for you. Like Sasha is better than Kitchen. Sasha is better than Leggett in the center of the midfield. Like, and you play Kitchen literally every minute of this damn tournament when everyone's like, why is Kitchen still in the field? It's hard to, again, and we've gone back, it's hard to grade a lot of these guys just on the bubble of the tournament and just with GBS and not understanding what's going on in his head and what is he doing on the field. So I think a D+ is fair. Because, again, you're the guy who's supposed to be the leader of the team, or one of the leaders of the team, and you see 84 minutes.
At least one of the vets.
Yeah.
Yeah. This may be the largest gulf between our grades. I gave Sasha B. I gave him a solid, not minus or plus, middle of the road B. For what he did in the minutes he had available to him, which is why I tried to preface it that way. For what he was able to do with the minutes he had available to him, Sasha, in the first game, we had 2 outstanding players, Sasha and Dunbar. Neither of them ever saw the field again, which isn't on either one of them. It's on the administration. It's on the staff. It's on the front office. It's on GBS. It's on the coaching staff.
Well, Sasha got like 13 minutes in the game against LAFC.
Oh, that's right. He had some junk minutes.
Yeah.
So you have him being one of the 2 bright spots against Portland, in my opinion, one of the 2 bright spots against Portland, and then him playing in a game that's, for all intents and purposes, done, kind of washed. Like we've been blown out. We don't have an answer. Any person watching that game very clearly didn't have an answer pretty early, after about 20 minutes. For me, it's hard to negatively judge him coming into a game that you're being overrun and starting a game that you did very, very well in. I thought for what he was able to do, he deserved a slightly better grade. But I see as well for the LAFC game seems fine.
Yeah, I would, if anything, I'd bump it to a C. I mean, I don't think many of these players deserve anything higher than a C. I think many of them deserve a lot lower than a C for sure. It's very rare. Like maybe, like I said, like maybe 1 or 2 players can get.
It's here and there.
Yeah,
it's here and there.
All right, Benjamin, your next player.
My next player is Joey Beers, and again, I can't justify giving anybody high. I want to give him a C, I do, but I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm a Paulette. I'm gonna give him a D plus. You know, he played. You know, you look at his stat line and what 161 minutes.
161
minutes.
Roughly 80 minutes in 2 games.
Yeah, 2 fouls committed, 4 fouls suffered. I mean, is he irrelevant?
Do you think if he would have been in
word?
that, if he was available for the first game against Portland, it would have mattered?
I don't know, man. This team is so disjointed. I don't think that it almost doesn't matter who you put out there. You know, I mean,
it definitely he wouldn't have helped us in the offensive side of it. So it's like,
and again, like what Tucker says is, I don't think GBS puts his players in the best positions to succeed.
Right.
You know, and that includes Joe Corona. You know, I don't think that GBS puts him next to players that complement him.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, giving him a C is maybe the best that he can even do. So.
Well, you saw him. He was probably one of the. I mean, it's comparison to Kitchen, but
yeah.
I mean, like,
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is it? Yeah. Is it no matter? I mean, looking at who these guys are playing next to, maybe like we were talking about with Cuello. You know, I mean, the guy looks better than the other guys, but he's playing next to shit.
Yeah, I mean, Kitchen definitely makes Corona look better.
I don't know what I walked into, but I just came back to Ben going, I don't know, man. But he's playing next to shit.
Well, it's like comparing, Kitchen and Corona. Like you look better in comparison just for the fact that you're not that guy.
Exactly. Just because I look Tuck.
That's good.
Tuck. Just because I look skinny next to Ed doesn't mean I'm skinny.
That's funny. Actually, with Erica and I were talking about you guys' weight just the other day.
She concerned yet?
Oh yeah. Well, you know what's weird? I'm more concerned than she is about you. But I see you every week.
Yeah.
Like, you sit very creatively around all these cameras here, so it's a little more difficult for her to tell. But I'm a little worried about you.
I appreciate
COVID
that.
going around, man. You know, you're my boy. What grade did you give Corona?
You're old and stuff,
I gave him a C. C minus.
Yeah, that's fair. He's whatever. 160.
Exactly. He is whatever.
He's whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He's kind of irrelevant. I mean, it's.
You could have told me he didn't play at all, and I would have believed you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I looked at this and saw 161 minutes, and I was like, really? He just disappears for me.
Yeah. I mean, could you even remember that he even didn't play in the first game? Like you would have been like, oh, okay.
I assumed he did.
It's forgettable. A lot of this stuff is forgettable performances, and hopefully we forget it very quickly because it was just so bad. Christopher, your next player.
I'll take Kitchen to knock it out. 270 minutes played, Played every minute of every game along with Pavone, Felcher, and Bingham. D. I mean, it's Perry Kitchen. Like I don't want to hang out on him too long because by now, if you've heard me talking about Perry Kitchen, you know exactly what you're going to get. I would like to see Perry Kitchen in a 4-1-2-2-1 formation, to where he's just sitting in the back. He's sitting in that sweeper role above the back four. If he's not playing there, I don't want to see him on the field ever. He doesn't contribute anything going forward. He's a pure, natural, hardcore defensive midfielder. If you ask him to do anything else, it's going to be a failure. It's not going to work. We consistently ask him to do more. This is the second coaching staff that has asked him to do something else besides that. Don't play him. Just don't play him. That's an option. Play Carlos Harvey. You get something out of it. You see if Carlos Harvey can go up against regular MLS talent. You'll learn something out of this.
I think that was our argument in the beginning. Just play some of your kids. What is?
Fucking learn something.
And
man.
not perspective. Perspective looking back on it. What would have mattered if you played the kids or not?
This is the problem the Galaxy should have with me. I don't know if they do, but this is the problem the Galaxy should have with me. I'm right too often about the things you guys do. And a lot of it comes off as hysterics when it happens, but I'm right way too often. We could have just played kids. If we played Abraham Romero, if we played Justin Vomsteeg at goalkeeper, if we just wholesale played kids, or at least played a healthy chunk of kids, you'd have an opportunity to see what some of these kids can do at MLS level, rather than you playing MLS talent that I already know can't compete at MLS level. That's just going to embarrass the club further. Play Carlos Harvey instead of Kevin Perry Kitchen, whatever his name is, and let me see whether Carlos Harvey can contribute.
It's
something
Kevin
longer.
now.
It's back to Kevin.
Bad.
He's back to Kevin.
Yeah.
Play Carlos Harvey. Let's learn something out of this. But that's not really how we do business. Somehow Perry Kitchen, one of our most questionable players for the last few years, played every single minute of this tournament. There are two options for me, and Perry Kitchen really highlights it. Either you never had any intention on progressing in this tournament at all, or you genuinely have no idea what you're doing. It's one of those two things. I don't know another way to word that. I'm tossed up between an F and a D. Slice it however you want. Give him an F plus or a D minus. Move on.
All right.
Garbage. More trash.
Hanging on to the defensive end of our team, I got Stairs up next. Stairs played all minutes of all games. No fouls committed, which for a center back seems. I'm sorry, 4 fouls committed. Sorry, I looked at the wrong line. 4 fouls committed, 4 fouls suffered. I'm pretty much done with the will he won't he be good Stairs. I think he's definitely hit his peak. He's not going to be nothing more than a backup center back.
Mm-hmm. And
in this tournament, you got to give him a D. I mean, it's bad.
He's someone who will spend his entire career on the Galaxy fighting to. He's AJ.
Yeah. Well,
he's AJ that I like less. But he's someone who will spend his entire career on the Galaxy fighting for his spot. Whether it's a spot in the full 18, whether it's a roster spot at all in the full 30, or whether it's a starting 11 spot. Daniel Steres will always be fighting for his spot.
And that's something to be it's admirable about him, but
rather than quit. He's someone that could have gone to a Cincinnati and would start every game forever.
Yeah.
But he's again, much like we were talking about Depew, you're already there. For the level Daniel Steres is going to hit in soccer, which is likely just Major League Soccer and probably more likely a little bit of USL at some point. You've already capped, man. You need everything around you to start working. But he's peaked at where he's going career-wise.
And when you get overshadowed by someone who just got promoted from G2,
but it's on us as an organization to recognize that he is capped.
Yeah.
And then go, cool, we see what Steres is. Steres is someone who, on a really good day, can push 2 starting center backs. And on a bad day, probably needs to go back to USL. So understanding that, we need to make sure he's not the guy going into every game.
I want to drop his letter grade down 1 just for that miss pass back to Bingham after Bingham paired it out to him or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, that was just. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with the he. Will he be good this season? Will he not be good this season? Or will he be good this game from this week to the next week? It's just you can't have that as your starting center back for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Just come on. It's not working. It's just not working. Benjamin, your next player.
My last player is.
Is he your last player?
Yeah,
'Cause
Javier.
he skipped one.
Well, let me go because I have 3 left.
You have 3 left.
I have
Oh,
3
that's right.
left. Yeah, because I got the double.
Yeah.
I got Insua.
Just give him the F now. We'll move on.
Ugh. F, garbage, fail, terrible. Goals coming, not even goals coming directly on your side, goals coming directly off of you. Like guys beating you, passes beating you regularly. And then to go back to GBS ever so quickly, the idea to pair Emiliano Insua and Pipo Gonzalez as if that's somehow going to fix a problem instead of exacerbate it. Like instead of making it worse. You pair these two guys.
He's like 2 negatives make a positive, right?
Jesus Christ, man. Fail. Huge. Terrible. Garbage. Worse than Romney. He is a worse left back than Dave Romney.
Yeah, how do you not see those first 2 games and you're like, you know what, we'll give Chari a run out there to start the position.
I'm saying.
F, man. That guy is just... And like you brought up earlier, there's a laundry list now of guys they brought in, or we've had problems with the last 3-4 years.
Yeah. Shelvik, Polenta can't hold a left back, really.
No.
Shelvik, Polenta, Romney, you've lost 3 left backs in the last year?
Yeah. Siani.
I mean, it's I don't know. Whatever. But yeah, Insua, F, terrible, garbage. Can't believe we brought him in. Waste of money.
Speaking of left backs, I'll bring up Chari. Again, I think you can't really grade him. 13 minutes.
Not enough.
I mean, he looked active. For the short time he had,
he gets forward,
he
man.
looked active. Yeah.
I like that he's like it's young, it's youth, it's the youthfulness, but there's that reckless abandon. Every time he goes up, he is certain he can win a ball. He is certain he can win a tackle. Like he is certain he can get to it before the other guy. He's always certain he can make it. At some point, it's going to hurt him. But 13 minutes.
Beraldinho, he says, I miss the days when my biggest complaint about the Galaxy was that they gave me flip-flops.
One size fits all.
Yeah. All right, then one more for you, and then we'll go to Ben.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, you got Zubac, right?
So my last one I stole from Ben. I was Ben was given Cameron Dunbar, which come on,
wasn't given. It wasn't given.
It was random.
Yeah.
It was a random generator list.
It was random, like all those fantasy football
Yeah.
drafts where Andrew came up completely randomly, but it wasn't in a place that made him happy. So, must be forced.
You got Zubac too, didn't you?
Well, I took Zubac. The only reason, so we had Zubac left as a floater because Ed forgot about him.
I completely forgot about him.
And I told him the only way I would take is Zubac's still my boy, but the only way I would take Ethan Zubac is if I could also trade for Cameron Dunbar. So I got Dunbar on my list. And the reasoning for it is I don't really think there's a way I could, in my head at least, grade one without the other.
All right, so then let me go first because
Take it.
I'd like to finish on Dunbar.
Take it.
Because Chicharito, I'm gonna give him a C-, and the only reason he gets a C- and not a D is because he scored that one goal.
No bullshit. I totally forgot about him. I completely forgot about Javier Hernandez.
So yeah, so he gets C-.
See, if I was really rigging it, I would have gave Chris Chicharito.
You mean did you look at what you gave us? I got the first third of the roster. Did you see that?
I honestly,
It's
put in
random.
the random generator.
Yeah, random, yeah.
I gave you 1 through 6. I swear.
There are no random number generations, Ed. They all come back to make Andrew look bad. That's really the thing you got to focus
Okay,
on.
cool.
My platform's bigger. Yeah. Well, I mean, he's it would have been a great opportunity for Hernandez to show up and to show that leadership. It's a whatever tournament, and he's still 5 games into his Galaxy tenure with a team that's not built for success, a team that's not built to work for him. Coming off of Zlatan, we're all expecting him to magic it because you forget, it's easy to forget. You watched Magic every week for a year and a half. Like you watched magic happen. You watched the team be terrible and then just float a ball in the air. and this dude pluck it out and create something out of it. So there is this expectation of, well, that'll keep happening. And it's like, well, not only will that not keep happening, but even what you realistically should expect out of that player isn't happening. So you're not going to get, you're not going to get that good feeling. You're not going to get that good return. I will keep defending him right now anyway. We're not built for him to succeed. We're not playing for him to succeed. And it's hard for me to judge a player, especially one that's that isolated, because he's not playing with a second forward. He's not playing with an attacking midfielder.
I want to wait till he gets his Zubac score.
His help. My issue with Zubac's a little different. My issue with Zubac. Well, look, one of them is a G2 player. One of them is a USL player. The other one, if you haven't been reminded of this fact,
world-class striker.
If you haven't been reminded of this fact in the last 2 days alone, one of them is the all-time leading goal scorer for Mexico. I get reminded of that fact every 3 hours. But in the event you haven't been on Twitter today yet, someone's going to remind you of it relatively soon. I give him. That's the only reason I give him a little bit of leave. Where you could give him a drastically lower grade is getting caught on camera faking a limp after he notices the cameraman. Like that's a bad look, man. I would have been fine if he just kept walking and was like, feels a little better today. The reason they pulled me was, we weren't doing great in the tournament. There's no reason to make it worse. And we're going to be playing a game. I didn't understand the like, oh shit.
But to like Sasquatch, like you got caught and then you're like, oh, I've got a limp now.
Well, that's the move. That's the move you make after you get a whooping as a kid. And you're like, I'm going to pretend like I'm really hurt so this bitch stops hitting me. Like, you don't need to do the extra limp to be like, see, you hurt me, Mom. Like, none of that extra stuff needs to happen. Just be like, hey, man.
We're like real Southern right there, too.
My family's from South. What you want? But I didn't like, that's a bad look from the 2020 LA Galaxy captain. So I hope, I still have positive hopes for him, and I hope the brother does well, but yeah, rough tournament. Another instance where probably better off just staying home.
All right, so I have one more. Do you want me to go first? Or you
Sure.
All right, I have last player is Gordon Wild. 29 minutes. Has our only assist.
Yeah, how do you give that man a C?
Our only assist for the entire tournament. 1 foul committed, 2 fouls suffered. You gotta give him of all the there's 3 players that came out positively in this tournament. He's one of them, and only got 29 minutes. If that's not an indictment on your entire team.
I keep telling you, it goes back to management.
And what a great assist it was too. Gave Chicharito's only goal in the tournament. So
you always got to enjoy, and that was my thing of grade it in the bubble that we're operating in. Grade it in this specific tournament. As a guy who likely was going to be fighting to stay on the team, one of those guys who's in that Steris position, where you're always going to be fighting for a spot, whether it's first team, 18-man game day roster, 30-man season roster. Gordon Wild's always going to be fighting for a spot. Certainly came in fighting for a spot.
You know, it's
he was a trialist, right?
No, he came through Atlanta 2 or something like that.
But I think he came in as a trialist. We didn't acquire him.
Right.
But I think he came in initially as a trialist. And it kind of worked out. Couple of minutes and looked good when he did.
I mean, when I don't know if it's a good or bad thing when the Galaxy fans are clamoring to be like, we need Gordon Wild.
He was a trialist.
He's Cameron Dunbar.
Well, no. The fact that you had going into the last game, it was start Dunbar and Wild up top. Start a man-child. An amazing man-child. But start a man-child. And he was a trialist. We signed him when he came in on trial. And Gordon Wild, a trialist. Start those two up top for the LA Galaxy. Gordon Wild, in the few minutes he played between the preseason and this tournament. Yet Galaxy fans saying, fucking start him. Give the kid a run. And they're not crazy. They're not wrong. He should have started.
Yeah.
He legitimately should have started.
I mean, at least had more than 29 minutes.
Well, I get in the last game. I get why they had pushed themselves into a position where they had to start Ethan Zubac in that last game. I get that. But fans weren't wrong to say Gordon Wild should be starting that game. You know what I mean? Would you B? B seems fair.
I think B.
B seems fair. I like me some Gordon Wild too. I got Dunbar and Zubac. Ooh.
Close it out.
Dunbar and Zubac. First off, Cameron Dunbar.
Strong, and then whew.
Cameron Dunbar. Let me do Dunbar first because let me do Zubac first. So I get out positive. I'm working on getting out positive. Terrible. Got to chalk it up as an awful tournament, top to bottom for him. Couldn't get minutes over Wild, over initially. I mean, outside of this last game, couldn't get minutes over Wild. Couldn't get minutes over Dunbar. Couldn't get minutes over Efrain.
At one point, you were literally the only striker on this team.
You're it, man. And
you still couldn't get minutes.
And why did you play? Because the main dude went home. The big dude went home. That was it.
Would we have seen Zubac at all had Shatrina not gone down?
I don't think so. And you know what? But I would have been fine with that. Because then, from a man management standpoint, you can pull him aside and say, look, I want you as my second center forward. And so I can't risk you because you're so important to the project. I can't risk you playing right wing. I can't risk you playing left wing. I can't. Because in the event he goes down, you got to be the fucking guy. You're it. Wild can come off and play off Chicharito a little bit. Or we can transition Wild to the right. But for center forward, you're my dude. And so if he goes down, it's got to be you. Absolutely got to be
But then it wasn't.
But then it wasn't you. But then it was Wild. Then it was it
was a combination of center midfields that are playing up top of the structure.
Yeah, taking in everything we've said about the tournament and how they play and how I'm trying to grade and the prism I'm trying to look at it. The ability to get minutes in the tournament as a youth player, fail. That's not fair. Ability to get minutes in the tournament, probably D+, C-, because he did start a game and ran a full 100 minutes of that last game, which went to 100 minutes if you weren't keeping track. We had long stoppage time and then a couple stoppages in between. The ability to get minutes, D+, D+, C-. What you do with those minutes when you're on the field, that's got to be an F. It's got to be an F. It was an awful performance from him. He played one really ridiculously nice ball that I forget who he served it to, but it might have been to Wild. It got completely wasted, and nothing came of it. And I looked at it, having watched Ethan Zubac's entire career to this point, his entire professional career.
Gordon Wild didn't get any minutes in the last game.
I can't remember who he passed the ball to. It might have been Pavone then, but like he crosses the ball, and I said on Twitter, I was like, it's the best ball Ethan Zubac has ever played in his career. And it got wasted. But then he gets served up a dime from Depew, wasted. He gets served up a dime from Pavone. And watch back the Pavone pass to Zubac that he misses that everyone lost their mind on. I get that he's exhausted. I know that he's exhausted. I get it. But that's day one. It's day one shit, man. Parallel, slightly behind the ball. Run with the forward. Back post. Any person watching that play, any person with any soccer IQ whatsoever, not even soccer IQ, if you just watch the game, if you're a diehard Liverpool fan, big ups on your Premier League. If you're a diehard Liverpool fan, stop shaking your head, Ben. You're a diehard, let them get this shit. You're a diehard Liverpool fan. And you you live in Culver City or whatever, and you wake up at 4:30 in the morning or 6:30 in the morning on Saturdays, and you wear all your red and you're singing your songs and you do all your shit. And that's the extent of your world in soccer. You knew where that ball was going. You know what I mean? Everyone knew where that ball was going. That's because you're a Man United fan. That's why you didn't know. I'm sorry, everybody else. I'm just insulting.
If you're a Liverpool fan, you're an idiot. So you didn't know where the ball was going.
Hey, Ole's at the wheel, right? We can do this real quick. You want to run through Liverpool's side and Man United's side and tell me which of your players would even get in their team?
Just saying, if you're
Mason Greenwood is the future.
If you're a Liverpool fan,
hey,
you're an idiot.
Hey, they're champions of England as well, and I believe at least for another month, champions of Europe. What's United won? When's the last time y'all got an FA Cup or a Community Shield? What do you guys win nowadays?
If you're a Liverpool fan,
Intertoto Cup. You down with Newcastle United? Why are you talking shit? It's all of us going down next year.
Didn't they win with like Zlatan in the Europa League or something?
I don't. I'll be honest, Ed. They don't play really good soccer. I don't watch Man United anymore. I watch a lot of Liverpool.
I get my fill of bad soccer with fucking Galaxy and Watford.
If I'm gonna watch,
I'm okay.
If I'm gonna watch Manchester soccer, I'll go City. I'm joking. FC United and Manchester, come on. You're both terrible and deserve to fold both those damn teams. Yeah, Andrew's saying no United players were getting Liverpool side. That's not true. That's patently not true. Most of them wouldn't, for sure. Most of them wouldn't, but that's
So back to Zubac.
Back to Zubac. He wasted the chances, wasted the minutes. Didn't get a ton. Just got him in that last game
Because he could have been a hero. Could have been a hero. He scores at one of those goals, and it's.
But like we needed 3.
It's like a D to an F, or I mean a D to a C.
If he scored, first off, in the last like 10 minutes of the game, we probably could have gotten all 3 goals. It really highlights the ineptitude and the exhaustion.
Oh, is he this? He's this year's Adam Chrisman.
Zubac? It's really early. I mean, look, all that Chrisman thing is based on one game. So in this scenario, yeah, you can say it, because who really remembers Chrisman outside of the final? And who really remembers him anyway? It would have been a great opportunity for Ethan to take the chances that were put in front of him, and maybe not necessarily take the next step, but at least push himself back to a confident number 2.
Or at least be like, yeah, I score a goal. I'm like, hey, see, I can do it.
I'd start Wild right now. I'd start Wild at center forward. Like right now, I'd start Wild. Dunbar to tie them all together. Dunbar. You got an 18-year-old kid. Where the entirety, at least as far as I saw, the entirety of the Galaxy community was like, he needs to play more. He should be playing more. That's why I can't do Zubac without having Dunbar. Because Dunbar highlights the failures of Ethan Zubac's time at this tournament. Dunbar should have deserved to start that last game. I get not starting him at center forward, being a young kid, but it's an elimination game. It's a game where he knows, hey, we're out anyway. We're done anyway. But you know who never got accused of giving up on the roster? Cameron Dunbar. Sasha Kleshchin didn't get accused of giving up. But to have a management structure that sees players in a game giving up, he saw the team give up against LAFC.
And we just keep giving them minutes.
And you saw the team give up against LAFC. You don't bring in the kid that ran his fucking boots off in the first game. That kid didn't see the field at all. Nothing.
That was it, yeah.
He never sees the field again. Like I don't want to be the dude who pushes the 18-year-old too hard. And they say part of the issue America hasn't come around as a soccer powerhouse is we don't push young players fast enough. We wait too long for them to develop. The average MLS age coming in is 23, 24 because you're coming out of college. Like as we shift to this academy system, you have to trust these kids younger and earlier, but at least giving them junk minutes, 10, 15. Anything. I thought for what he did and for the opportunity he had and the minutes he had available, Cameron Dunbar, outstanding for what he did with the time he had available. Your beef with Dunbar playing, what did he have? I dropped my sheet. Your beef with Dunbar playing 60 minutes? I think it's 60 or somewhere in the neighborhood of 60. You have your sheet with you?
Yeah. Yeah, 67 minutes.
Your beef with getting wrapped up in Dunbar, and what was Kleshchin?
84?
Your beef with Kleshchin playing 84 minutes. Your beef with Dunbar playing 67 minutes. How many Wild have?
29.
29. Your beef with the 3 guys who I would say had very decent. Nick DePew.
90 minutes.
Those are the 4 guys that I would say half decent. Deserve their check. Deserve their meal. Deserve to be on the team plane back home. Those 4 dudes.
Give Araujo.
I'll toss Araujo in there. You know what? Again, for what I'm expecting out of you. Araujo can get on a plane. But that's it.
The rest going to get on a Greyhound. Back.
They find your own way.
Yeah.
Leggett can find his own way. You take the long way.
Call your lady to get a jet out here.
Take the scenic route. Call the other lady. Call the one sending you the nudes. Have her pick you up.
Yeah, she's probably not.
Well, she's my man. Don't get misunderstood.
My man.
My no. For what he was able to do with the minutes he had, and to work on growing, because people forget about it, to work on growing the name of Cameron Dunbar, to work on his individual game and getting his name out there. How do you give Dunbar anything less than an A?
I agree.
When you have people saying he should start matches at 18 above the dude who was here last year.
Actually, not 18 till October.
Yeah, it's 17.
So it's still 17.
You gotta give Dunbar an A for what he was able to accomplish. Your beef with the amount of minutes he gets, that ain't on him. Just like your beef with Sasha, that ain't on him. That's on GBS.
It shows you just like he got twice the minutes that Efrain got.
Yeah. It should show you the pecking order. I thought Dunbar, Depew, Araujo is okay. Kleshin showed me a lot in the minutes he was on. Wild, it's decent. Everyone else, I'm cool. Literally everyone else, I'm cool. It's a different team with Jonathan. It's a different team with Hernandez fully fit. I mean, even Pavon was okay. He wasn't him because he had so many other factors involved interrupting his game. But everyone else, I'm cool. And even Pavon, I don't really think about anymore because 2020 is a wash for me and he's gone at the end of 2020. So like even with him, I kind of just, whatever. Yeah, I don't think it's happening this year. I don't think anything of note is happening this year for us.
Nah.
So like whatever. It's time to begin moving on.
Yeah.
That's the way I'm going to look at it.
All right. Moving on. We were going to talk about G2 real quick. G2 got a 1-0 win over Sacramento. Williams with the goal off of Jorge Hernandez free kick, beautiful free kick.
Augustine Williams, yeah. Oh, if you haven't seen it, it's on my Twitter. I'll try to retweet it from the show's account.
Yeah.
Check out the cross Jorge Hernandez plays in.
But back to back
set piece.
Back to back 1-0 wins. They play again tomorrow, or if you're listening to this on Wednesday, it's Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Against San Diego. Chris, I know you got to watch that game in its entirety.
Mm-hmm. You want to know something wild? Sorry, finish your sentence.
No, go ahead.
No, finish your sentence.
You sure?
Yeah.
No, because I'm going to ask you questions. So.
I know, that's why I'm like, finish your sentence.
Okay. Real quick, I just want you to go through like who you saw that stood out to you.
A couple of kids. So this is my plan. I'm going to disregard first team almost entirely this year. Just move on.
People watch the G2 because they're actually winning.
G2 this year, and you guys know I'm all about developing it through the academy, developing our own kids. I like the big stars; they're fun. But if you followed along with me for a while, the people I tend to focus in on negatively are the big stars. I give our kids a lot of leeway because I want our kids to be successful. Cameron Dunbar, first Galaxy player born in Carson, like one of us if ever there fucking was one. Love it. But looking at the operation of G2 right now, compared to, with all due respect to my man, compared to Mike Munoz.
My man.
No. There is a system and a plan, at least in what we've seen in the 2 games of this tournament so far. There is a system and a structure and a plan in how they play. They control the ball, they control the tempo, they control the pace. That's at least how it has been. They're young kids, so every game is going to be up and down. You're going to get some games where they don't necessarily perform well. You're going to get some games where they all click and blow everybody out of the water. This was one of the games where it clicked and everything worked.
Yeah, I think it was a little harsh that they had to come back their first game after a month being off against Phoenix, who, went on, what was it, like a 22-game winning?
20-something games, yeah.
20-something like game winning streak. Not undefeated streak, winning streak.
Yeah, and that's we talked about proper USL club.
Yeah.
Like they are USL level with aspirations to get to MLS. But for us, like looking at our positives against Sacramento never really in the game. The players that of note that you guys probably want to keep an eye on, for me that I really enjoyed, we have a center back named Jalen Neal. He's 16 years old. He paired with my new man crush, Jesus Vasquez, center back, looked very competent. He looks a little undersized, but again, he's 16 years old. A lot of time to develop and grow.
Neal, not Vasquez.
What did I say?
Because you said Vasquez.
No. Vasquez, grown
man.
Jesus Vasquez, grown ass man.
Yeah.
Jalen Neal, young kid, still has to put some meat on his bones, but he's very smart, very intelligent. regularly got his body between the ball and the attacker, knew his positional awareness very well, never really seemed to get too lost or confused. Really young, and it's really early, but someone you guys want to keep an eye on.
Which, again, against a team like Sacramento, who, I mean, obviously they're
literally come into MLS.
MLS, yeah. So they're building their teams, like, and it's against a 16-year-old. That's really impressive.
Oh, absolutely. Victor Valdez was a kid we subbed on a little later in the game. He reminded me a lot of, although we just, or you guys did, finish shitting on him for a while. It reminded me of Emil Cuello. Like, the moment he came in, very attack-minded, forward-thinking, plays as an attacking midfielder. As soon as he came on, the formation as soon as he came on, the positioning shifted a little bit. Jorge Hernandez moved out to the far right side because Victor Valdez, proper attacking midfielder. So as soon as he came in, he moved right through the middle, started controlling the play. Was very impressed with the minutes he got. Jorge Hernandez played right midfield. I mean, my God, that cross is just dick tingle. It's beautiful. Overall, really good second half from Hernandez. Jesus Vasquez, great again. Augustine Williams, for what they're asking of him, amazing. They're asking him to play more of that Zlatan back to goal, hold up ball. He's really more of like, trying to put it into Galaxy terms, really more of like an early Carlos Ruiz, someone who's going to run the line, try to get behind the guys, use his strength, but use his strength in receiving a ball in motion, body the guy off and get his shot off. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Not so much the like hold up the play, but he's excelling. He's showing he can do it. Excelling's probably not the word. He hasn't been outstanding, but he's been okay. It's his second goal of the year. I liked what is it? Isaac Bawa played right back for us. Is from Ghana. Like a Sean Franklin. I don't want to hype him up too much. I'm just trying to put him into terms.
Players for you guys should check out. Yeah.
Trying to put him into terms you'll understand.
Yeah.
Like a small Sean Franklin. The Galaxy posted a photo at the end, had Augustine Williams, Jalen Neal, Victor Valdez, I want to say Jorge Hernandez. I think we ended the game with 5 teenagers on the field, and they were still able to control the game, control the pace, really see the clock out. Is the Galaxy 2's first back-to-back clean sheets since April 30th, where they against Las Vegas Lights and against the Austin Bolton June 5th of last year. And it is the first back-to-back clean sheet victories since the 2016 season against Arizona United, who no longer exists because they're Phoenix now, and St. Louis FC, who is preparing to come into Major League Soccer. So definitely a big step up. Love what we're seeing from Junior Gonzalez right now, the G2 setup. Jesus Vasquez, that's my dude. Jesus Vasquez, no bullshit. And I get that it's against USL players. Jesus Vasquez is better than Pipo Gonzalez. At least in the games that I've seen so far. He doesn't get lost, doesn't get confused, looks like a man competing against boys. Give it a chance. If you have ESPN Plus, you can go in there right now and see the last 2 games. He scored in the first game since they came back, almost scored in this game. This last week, he's the captain of G2 right now.
Yeah, you can, and he definitely has like the captain vibe of that team. Like yes. He is the guy.
He's one of the 2 oldest players.
Yeah.
Him and Bawa, I think, are both around 25. I heard that the G2 guys who are with the first team will likely be back for their game tomorrow, Wednesday night, against San Diego Loyal. We're playing at the Health Sports Park. Since we left
taking out the dignity. Yeah.
I didn't take the dignity out. They took the dignity out.
The team left their dignity.
I'm just acknowledging it. We're playing against Landon Donovan, San Diego Loyal at the Health Sports Park. Watch for Jesus Vasquez again. Hopefully some of the G2 kids that didn't get a ton of minutes get to feature on Wednesday. Cameron Dunbar obviously only played in the first game. Kai Koreniuk, I don't know if he's back from his hamstring injury just yet. Carlos Harvey, I'll be honest. If it's me, if I'm Junior Gonzalez, I don't touch it. But if you're telling me the G2 team from the last week or so are adding Cameron Dunbar, adding Ethan Zubak, adding Gordon Wild, adding Kai Koreniuk, you're telling me they're adding Nick DePew? I'm in. It's going to be a hell of a year. They're adding Carlos Harvey? I'm in. There's a lot of great talent on G2 for you guys to watch. I don't know when they're all leaving for Germany, but you definitely want to get in right now to make sure you're in on the ground floor.
Yeah, you're in on the ground floor. You know this player, so when they obviously go and play for Wolfsburg and stuff, like you'll know.
Exactly. And keep an eye out for the kid that I'm you may have seen a Klein on the roster for G2. That is, in fact, Chris Klein's son, Carson. He's been in the academy for a long time. Give him a break. He didn't even play, and he's a kid. Get off his ass. I see way too many people on Twitter being like, I can't believe Chris Klein. Fuck up. Zlatan's kid was in the academy. Beckham's kid was in the academy. Happens all the time.
They weren't on the G2 squad. But.
If maybe they ain't make it. Maybe that's on them. But look, if the kid plays, first off, look, I was going to say if the kid plays and he's not good enough, then say whatever you got to say. The kid plays and he's not good enough. He's a fucking child. Calm down.
Fuck that kid.
Come on. See, now we're never getting that media pass. You can't even blame Ben anymore. But try to keep an eye out for a kid named Nathan Varela. I believe he is part of the Galaxy U15s, and he's in the G2 setup. Clearly someone they're high on. So yeah, keep an eye out for him, and we will do our best to update you as things progress. Mauricio Cuevas, another one you can keep an eye out for, and Alejandro Alvarado, another great one to keep an eye out for.
All right, Ben, you want to hit us with those lightning rounds?
Adam Saldana, baller.
Still, my boy Adrian Veras on the team too.
Adrian Vera had a good game. You know, the only reason I don't mention it, you start to expect it. I expect it from Adrian Vera. Like, if anything, we need to start getting closer to him starting to feel out progressing to the first team.
Yeah, I mean, he's been with the G2
for a minute.
3-4 years now.
If Koreniuk didn't get called up, I would imagine Vera would have got called up.
Well, also he had like a really bad injury last year too. Like, I mean, I think he was out like almost the whole year last year.
Okay, well, there you go.
So a little setback. All right, Ben, hit us with those lightning rounds.
What is Alberto Diaz wants to know, what is Dan Beckerman's job?
To live in the shadows.
Yeah, he lives in the dark, man.
Yeah,
he is the night. He's shadow president. He is as best I understand, and I might be wrong. Best I understand, he would be your modern day Tim Lewicki. He's as close to your modern day Tim Lewicki as I understand it. He is the connection between Galaxy front office and AEG management. Of the administrative staff at the Galaxy, or the executives, how you guys doing, who are listening to this, I'm sure I'll get corrected tomorrow if I'm wrong.
Sup?
If I don't get corrected tomorrow, I'm going to assume I'm correct, and that's the narrative I'll keep pushing. But to my understanding, the closest thing he is similar to a modern day Tim Lewicki.
All right. Axnin wants to know, should this tournament fiasco be a concern for the FO to evaluate GBS and DTK?
We mentioned a little bit. I mean, I think they're going to see out the year at least. After that,
dude, I'm not sure GBS sees out the year.
Yeah, he will.
I don't know. Talk you.
Well, I mean, sorry, but obviously,
how dare you cut me off?
If we go into the post-tournament season, and we haven't won a game in 4 or 5 matches, but at that point, who cares? Like, what would it matter?
Ed, this is the lightning round, man. I need quick answers from
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
I haven't said a word. What are you getting mad at me for?
I'm just looking at your general direction.
No, there's always a set of circumstances that could potentially conclude in a coach being fired, of course. This tournament, should it? Atlanta showed us that it should. Once you're being shown by other people how big clubs should carry themselves, and you feel the need to emulate other clubs, you are no longer a big club. We don't lead, we're following. We can't fire GBS now. We're too close to the league restarting. Should it be a review of GBS and DTK? Absolutely. Every single match should be a review of GBS. It doesn't mean he should potentially lose his job for every game, but yes, his tenure should be reviewed. What are his major accomplishments? Explain, if anyone can explain his major accomplishments to me. You made the playoffs. You're the head coach of the LA Galaxy. The fuck you mean you made the playoffs? You know what would happen if you didn't make the playoffs? It'd be you and Anolfo and Yallop. That's it. Of course you made the playoffs. Of course you made the playoffs. And what? And then what? Do you want to become an organization? I know it's lightning round, Ben. If you want to become do you want to become an organization where just making the playoffs is acceptable? And if it's not, if your answer to that question is no, then of course he should be under review. Of course. Now that Frank de Boer is gone, the hottest seat in MLS, The hottest seat in MLS has to be under GBS. Or we're not the LA Galaxy anymore. And that's fine. That's okay. Because I'm willing to wait out until G2 kids come. I like winning. I like winning all the time. It's great. If we're shifting from winning all the time to being a club that develops youth talent and sells them abroad, okay. Enjoy them while you got them and we're going to sell them abroad, okay. But we currently have the highest paid player in the history of the Galaxy on the Galaxy. That's clearly not what we're doing. So yes.
So Don Rulio wants to know, what should the plan be for replacing Katai?
Get a winger?
That's bold strategy, Cotton.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we don't have any like outright wingers.
Yeah.
I mean, you're playing Dunbar, who's a forward. You're playing Gordon Wild, who I believe is a forward.
Yeah.
You're playing Leggett, who, all intents and purposes, is a center midfielder. I mean, I don't know what position he plays because he didn't play any of them good, but yeah, I mean, we need wingers. I mean, there's no one on that roster who's an actual winger. I guess Pavone. I mean, I shouldn't say.
He's a winger.
Yeah.
He's a natural winger.
After that
Bring out
long-winded
Sadrini
answer.
from China.
I can go shorter.
Go ahead, Tuck.
I think the season's a write-off. I would play Kai Koreniuk. I play Kai Koreniuk or call up Adrian Vera and move on. I'm not huge into the idea of going out and getting a big money guy only because I know Pavone is gone next year. And perhaps we restructure how we decide to do things. Maybe we don't go with another natural winger because we're not playing two wingers next year. Maybe we're playing, three in the middle and maybe we're playing a 4-3-2-1. Maybe we play a Christmas tree and we don't do wingers and we just feed the ball through the middle over and over again with overlapping outside backs. I would sit on it only because I think this year's a waste.
So how about you just take the money
Unless there's someone crazy available.
Well, what if you just take the money you were going to pay Katai and buy out Pipo and just move on?
I don't know how long his contract is. That's
Knowing the Galaxy was like 4 years.
It's usually
with a player option.
It's usually 18 months if he didn't have a job. I don't know what you do with Pipo, man. I genuinely don't know what you do with Pipo. Let's see. According to Transfer Market, his contract expires at the end of next year, end of 2021. That's a long time to sit out. That's a long time to sit on that dude. If his contract is till the end of this year and it's a team option next year, maybe we move on. But I wouldn't even buy anybody out. I would coast. I get them not coasting because you're wasting a year of Hernandez. And that's really not the game plan. But Hernandez is here to sell tickets and he can't sell tickets to anybody. So what does that matter?
It's a wasted year anyways.
Wasted year, yeah. But I would play a kid. I'd play a kid and sit on the spot.
We got a question about Kino becoming the next coach of the Galaxy.
It's not going to happen.
Nah.
There's no reason. DTK doesn't know him. Klein's not risking his job on a guy who's never been head coach. It's not going to happen. That's the fastest lightning round question I have ever answered.
And Uncle Dishwasher wants to know the percentage chance that of each of these people having a job at the start of 2021. Beckerman, Klein, DTK, and GBS.
100%, 100%, 100%. Right now?
50.
Oh, 33. 33. I give him 1/3%, yeah. Or 1/3 chance. I genuinely, you know what? 0. Unless he has an outstanding second half of the year. What has he brought? Like, what has he brought? Let's say he pulled Pavone off. And that's fair. He was at Boca. I'm sure he had connections and all that. Let's say he pulled Pavone off. Pavone's gone next year.
Yeah, what does it matter when we haven't done anything with him?
Pavone's gone next year, and you've done shit. You somehow wasted more time of this kid's career. Like if GBS was the dude, like I don't think the Flood could get rid of Chris Klein. I genuinely don't believe. Somehow he'd make his way onto the arc. DTK, you don't fire a general manager over one bad head coach. That doesn't happen. That's reactionary.
So does Klein try and take back some control?
Fuck no. That dude's done. I would hope so. I would hope that dude is done. because touching the roster almost got him fired.
Yeah.
And he's I don't think he's gotten that far. But touching the roster is specifically the thing that will end up costing Chris Klein his job. Whether let's say he loses it at the end of the year, he is still going to have lost his job in part because he touched the roster 5 years ago. And the fallout from him touching the roster 4 or 5 years ago is what has us here. The process, and I get Galaxy executives who are going to text me, no, you're not right about this. I get for you guys, it's individual seasons. I get that. It's individual compensation packages. It's individual commissions. But for the supporter, for the fan, for the, lightly obsessed, for me, it's a story. It's a story that can be charted from this guy begat this guy begat this guy, this guy begat this guy, this guy begat this guy.
It's chapters in the book.
It's chapters in a book. It's chapters in a book. But you can look at Eddie Lewis retired, so we needed to get Todd Donovan back. Todd Donovan retired, so we needed to get Ashley Cole in. Ashley Cole was retiring. Well, we had Stelvik, so Stelvik didn't work, so we need to get Polenta. Polenta took off, so we had to get Insua. Like, these guys arrive for reasons. They don't just poof in the air. They understand this. They understand this, and their plans for things are a year, 2 year out. They plan these things. Not every plan works. Not every plan comes off the right way, but it's a story. You can chart the story. And if you look at the story of the LA Galaxy up until 2020, from the last time that the LA Galaxy was competitively relevant, because we're always relevant. We've always got the Zlatans and the Gerrards and the Gios and the Keens and the Beckhams and the Donovans and the Jones and the Lawless and the Campos.
And whether we're good, bad, or mediocre, we're always a story.
We're always a story. We're always going to be a story because it's the brand. That's why you strengthen and you support and you build the brand. But the brand has to be your foundation for what you're trying to do. And we don't have that foundation for what we're trying to do. But we don't seem really to be trying to do anything. What we're trying to do is sell tickets again, in my estimation. Or you genuinely believed Javier Hernandez was the best center forward you can get. And I don't know anyone who believes that. There may be people who believe it. If you believe that, do not get in contact with me. I don't care.
Add to T-Writer Ben.
Yeah, you know what? Ben is my producer. You all can let Ben know.
Go through him.
You can email the show. Email the show and say, hey, I think Chris is wrong about ABC XYZ. Ben will read it out the next week, and then I will debate your point. And then when you email back, I will ignore it. Like that, but he's not going to read it. But if he were to read it, this is something that could happen. I don't know anyone who believes Javier Hernandez is the best center forward we could have gotten to replace Zlatan. I don't know anyone. I'm sure those people exist. I just don't know them. I don't know what we're working on, but the storybook of the LA Galaxy began to take a turn, begin to go downward when certain people started putting their hands on the roster. And if through all those actions he ends up fired at the end of this year because it's another down season with more money spent, more money wasted, and it's wasted at this point, but more money spent, more money wasted. If he's fired at the end of this year, and I don't believe he should be. Only because everyone has heralded, or at some point, was all about the choice he made for DTK. This is on DTK first and foremost. You can't be pro firing Klein and pro keeping DTK logically for me. For me. Unless you say, and I don't know that it's the case, unless you say Klein picked GBS instead of DTK, which is believable. It's completely believable. And if it's true, then yes, he should lose his job. Absolutely. Even without DTK losing his. If Klein chose GBS, he should lose his job for that.
Yeah, they can all go.
But I think across the board, save for GBS, they'll all be there.
That's it.
They said it perfectly fine. Next one.
That's it.
That's it.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, we only had 6.
Really?
Or 8. Yeah, that was it.
Oh, that's lame.
Anyways.
He's not lying. Yeah, most of them are comments. It's like Scalotto out trending on social media.
Okay, cool. All right. Anything else before we get out of here, boys? Sorry, Big Tony. I know you sent an email. We'll get to it next week.
That's Ben's call why it's not getting read, Tony. That's not on me.
We can read it real quick. You want me to get there?
Well, hey, man, it's 12.
I'm not trying to get in trouble.
It's 12:20, man. You want to read it?
I just don't want to get. This is my thing.
Let's save it. What are we gonna have to talk about next week?
I don't
Let's
want
just save it.
Fucking G2 game. What are you talking about? We're selling this shit. Look, this is the G2 podcast from now on. I'm going to read it really quick. Sorry. Prognostication. Well, that's over for the G's. Now they can go back to playing golf. But realistically, should we give GBS a pass on the overall performance of the Corona Cup? Remember, this was billed as a preseason tournament to get players back in shape and prove MLS can safely conduct games with the shadow of COVID-19 looming. Did it prove MLS is safe for players? Probably not, since two full teams had to drop out due to infections prior to the tournament starting. But the other question is the important one. Did the G's get in better shape and are now prepared for the season to resume? Based on what we saw in Florida, it's going to be a long season. Maybe with the full team in games that count, the G's will look better, but don't bet on it. Anyway, let's look at predictions. Chris and Ben both predicted G's losses. Boom, oh ye of little faith. And Ed thought the G's would come away with 3 goals for a win. What a fucking idiot. I added that. To be young and naive again. Well, no points for anyone. That doesn't make sense because we drew. That's right. Useless Pavone. No points for anyone. That means Ben is the winner of the Corona Cup.
I like you assumed it was like a draw. Like we lost that game.
I assumed we lost. I assumed we lost them all. That means Ben is the winner of the Corona Cup prognostication tournament. He was able to grab 1 point in the second game. Final scores were 1-0. Very impressive. Just for that stellar performance, Ben will receive a 1-point bonus for the 2020 season once it restarts. Congratulations, man. Listener predictions. Heading into the third game for the G's, Fredo and Oscar shared the lead with 4 points. Sadly, neither of them scored any additional points for their predictions for the Houston game. However, 2 other listeners, Mark and Ron L., both predicted a 1-1 draw with Pavone being the lone goal scorer. So that means they each grabbed 4 points to pull them into a 4-way tie. Full standings are available at RiotSquadcast.com. Since I didn't set up a tiebreaker, I'm making up one now. I have emailed the 4 leaders and I'm asking for the total number of goals that will be scored in the tournament. They must respond by July 31st. That's 2 days from this the Wednesday you're available to download this. End of day to get their predictions in. Price is Right rules. The person who is the closest without going over wins the tiebreaker and gets the Modelo beer at the first game where it is safe for fans to be in the stadium. Hint for those considering their guess, as of Monday morning, July 27th, a total of 109 goals scored, which includes the goals scored in the PK shootout between KC and Vancouver. Going forward, assuming the season restarts, I'm going to need a lot more whiskey. I can definitely agree with that, good sir.
All right. On that note, I think we're going to get out of here.
Yeah, only 98 of those goals scored against the Galaxy, by the way.
Yeah, only. Yeah.
It's a good tournament.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
It's been real fun. Benjamin, where can they find you on the socials, man?
Hey, real quick, speaking of birthdays, it was Raul Vargas's birthday yesterday.
Really?
I saw on social media.
I don't have that due to my... let me rectify that right now.
Oh, Chris's next list is going to be all the staff workers.
I don't need that. Don't put that energy in my world.
You can find me on Twitter at DTRadioBen or OldManBen3. Give me a follow, man. Maybe I'll tweet sometime.
Yeah, maybe.
That's not how Twitter works.
Hey!
You tweet and then people follow you. Trust me.
I don't like that way.
Okay.
That's no good.
Where can they find where can they get in contact with the show, Ben?
You can email the show at fuck you, Ed.
What did I do?
No, it's fucking 12:30. Fuck off.
You can email the show. Just email show@riotsquadcast.com, or you can send us a voicemail, 562-641-5277. If you have any questions or comment, leave us a voicemail. Keep it under a minute, please. Don't make it too long. But you can find Chris where, Chris?
You can find me at ZeroCool138.
On everything.
Yeah, I'll wrap up mine at the end of this.
All right.
I got a little bit I want to sprinkle on you.
Okay. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at EdTheZombie13. You can find the show on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just search Riot Squadcast. Make sure you guys are liking. Make sure you're sharing the posts when you see them. It's a huge help for us to get more earballs on this podcast. YouTube.com/Riot Squadcast. If you want to join in on the live chats, that's where we pay attention mostly. So get on that. Patreon.com/Riot Squadcast. If you do want to contribute and help keep the lights on the show, Patreon.com/Riot Squadcast. Now, Chris, back to you.
I just want to say, everybody, try to be a little nicer to each other. You know, this episode, notwithstanding to players we treat like they're not human. Everybody, be cool to each other. I saw someone create a fake account just to start going at girls for, or not girls, going at ladies for the women's team and who they support. You don't want to be in a supporters group? Don't join a supporters group. You don't want to be in a supporters group that's likely ran by an LAFC fan? Don't join a supporters group ran by an LAFC fan. Don't be a fucking dick to other Galaxy fans. If you are a Galaxy fan and you were that person that created that dumbass fake account to tweet shit at women, go fuck yourself. Stop listening to this.
Bye.
Fuck you, Brian. Suck a dick, bitch.
And fuck.
Woo!